Well, we got here at last. Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the 2022 series CET APB Reloaded Tournament. You join us tonight for the grand finals of this event. And we have had it's been a long journey to this end. We're going to give you a brief overview of how we got here, but for those who have been here since the start, I'm pretty sure you know how this goes down. So, first and foremost, the round robins at the start. Godsting versus Venia, convincing victory for them, leading them into the first bracket of the semi-finals. Following them into the semi-finals straight after was Ultimate Mittori versus Smartless, with Smartless having a bit of a struggle, but able to come out on top at the last second on a very crucial mission, bringing them into the second semi-final bracket. They then were to go up against the G-Kings, who were successful against Last Chance in a 4-0 sweep. And meanwhile for Godsting, they had their work cut out for them against Slayem, who were able to beat Love Is In The Air 4-0 pretty convincingly. After that, we saw our first of the two semi-finals, Smartless versus G-Kings, a horrendously hard-fought battle both ways from the start to the finish, including that all-important tiebreaker final, giving us the 4-3 standing that we got, letting Smartless take their place in the finals. But joining them would be Godsting in another hard-fought victory. Godsting taking the initial early lead, but Slayem able to claw back at least 2 rounds, but ultimately not enough to get them through. Now, today is going to be a bit of a weird one for you. So, today we've got the grand finals starting just now, and we will be taking you over to the feeds of both teams in just a moment. But straight after the grand finals, we have to determine who will be in third place. So we have our losers finals straight after, so please don't go anywhere, and that'll be Slayem versus G-Kings. To give you an idea of the prize pool, we are looking at a $2,100 prize pool total, with first place winners taking home $1,200, second place taking home $600, and third place taking home $300. So that losers final is still all to play for between Slayem and G-Kings. It'll be an interesting one to say the least. Nonetheless, we need to turn our attention to the grand finals tonight of Godsting versus Smartless. We asked you once again, as what I think is going to be the penultimate of polls, on who is going to win the 2022 series tournament, with a pretty convincing victory going to Godsting, according to you, the viewers, with a 76.67% to 23.33% split. I'm not as convinced. I think this is going to be a lot closer. The lineups are slightly different from what you saw in the intro there. It's actually going to be Exotics, Huizness and Melicide leading for Godsting this afternoon. But the 3 players on Smartless are indeed the same. We've seen what happens with both Melicide and Exotics really going for it, and Huizness definitely has had some finest hour moments during the tournament, so Godsting are definitely poised and ready to be in position to win this. However, Smartless have fought arguably 2 very difficult teams in their tournament run so far, and they have had 2 hard-fought victories getting to this point. It's very likely that they could pull up an upset and actually take the victory here tonight, but it's all to play for. We'll all have to wait and see. Again, leading them is Device, followed by, once I get the teams actually in front of me, bear with me 2 moments, followed by Counterweight and Sarcasm, a dangerous duo on the Smartless team who have been able to really pull in some clutch maneuvers whilst Nariko/Device moves in to take the objective or provide support. Both teams definitely in a good position here for the grand finals, and I think this is going to be a absolute slaughter to the end. Both teams probably getting team wipes, both teams capitalising on situations. It's going to be interesting to say the least. Now then, both teams do appear to be ready here, and we're going to get started here in just a moment. Both teams are waiting for that all-important coin flip now. We do have an interesting little thing for you today. We do have potentially instant replay to catch those really cool moments that I know we're going to see tonight. So hopefully I'll be able to get that to work for you today. No guarantees, but we're going to see if we can get it working for the finals here, so fingers crossed. But enough waffling from me. It's time to take you over to those all-important matches as we start tonight with the grand finals. Godsting versus Smartless. But before we go over, I need to give you a brief reminder once again. At CET, we use other people's Twitch streams and provide them in a singular location so you can get commentary and the perspectives of both teams in one location. However, if you would like to support the two teams today directly, then we will provide you the links to both Twitch feeds today. So, streaming for Smartless tonight, we have Device, that's twitch.tv/DIVAICE_. But if you want to watch Godsting's perspective, then you know who it is already, it's Exotics, and you can find them at twitch.tv/EXOTICZ. That's EXOTICZ. Now then, it does look like both teams are ready. We've been delayed long enough. Apologies for the delays there. I'll take responsibility for that. I was getting the stream set up. Let's get the grand final started, shall we? As we take you over to the feeds from both teams. And so, Device will have to make the choice. Heads or tails. He goes for heads. Now we just wait for that penultimate coin flip. We will have one for the losers as well, but this is the big one.
Yeah, we're tails. Yeah, trust me, it's 100% tails. It's Sunday. It has to be. Yeah, I can feel it.
I think both teams are debating the probability here of a heads or a tails call. Bit of superstition going on as to whether the day dictates what the coin toss is. And it's tails. So, for your grand finals this evening, Smartless will be on the attack first. And Godsting will defend for the first round of this final. It looks like both teams are pretty much ready to go here. They've got their cars lined up and ready. I'm sure nerves are going to be high. There's a lot to play for here, definitely, and this is for the $1,200 first place prize. So, we'll have to wait and see. Which way is this match going to go? And which way is this whole match going to go from the start? Are we going to see Smartless taking an early lead, or are we going to see Godsting continuing their prowess and getting that initial dominating lead over their teams, like they have done so far in their previous matches? Smartless taking a little bit longer to start usually, but being able to come through all the way to the finals thus far.
We're ready, yeah?
Just getting a final confirmation that both teams are ready to go here. This is the perspective of Godsting, and over here is the perspective of Smartless. So, it does look like both teams are ready, but it does look like Smartless will need to line up here. I don't think they got the message. They're also pointing the wrong direction.
Don't get lined up, please.
Can they look the other way like that?
No.
All the stops coming out for this for the finals here. Everyone turning to face away from each other here. And the mission has begun. It hasn't worked in their favour. Round one begins of the grand final. Smartless on the attack. You're fired. No, not you specifically. That's just the name of the mission. And here we go, straight to the shopping mall of Financial. Smartless will definitely get there first and will opt to probably try and take these objectives as quickly as possible. Their aggressive tendencies during their matches have always come through for them. We'll have to see if it proves beneficial against Godsting. Some of the members of Godsting now trying to make their way in quickly. Melicide here trying to put some early pressure onto Device here as he tries to take one of the points. Some good nades coming out there from Mello. Mello sticking with the OCA for this round as Exotics now trying to get an angle on the A point here as He manages to stop him just before they take the point. Good start there. First blood going to Godsting there as they both kill Nariko and Counterweight. Counterweight not, managing to get the pick there on Melicide as well. It's a 2v1 scenario for Smartless already. And they are going to try a couple of things here. Exotics not wasting any time there, killing the last member of Smartless. Sarcasm goes down. The next few members of Smartless now trying to make their way in through Tiptoe's car park. As the members of Godsting now spreading out away from the objective to try and catch the spawn points early from Smartless, so they don't give them a chance to get in. But they have guessed incorrectly here as Device starts to make his way closer to the objective to provide overwatch and get rid of those all-important car spawners on the enemy team. Good use of nades and the Obir there. And that is that car down and done for. The members of Godsting now rotating around, floating around, trying to find the members of Smartless here, but Smartless making it difficult for them. Counterweight starting to make his way in close to the objective, and it looks like Device has got the same idea. Sarcasm now starting to make his way across the street as he looks to get an angle onto the objective, but both teams having difficulty spotting each other here. Having quite a bit of difficulty understanding where the teams are, but it does sound like Counterweight has managed to spot Exo and Melicide inside the hallway towards A. Huizness does get the pick on Counterweight there, as now Huizness using the top of the car spawn of the car park there to catch the members of Smartless out. There goes Device as well, a two-man there for Lavois. Good opening there from Huizness. This is what we've seen him do when he gets in position and he's ready to set up. He can be quite a menace for the enemy team. And I think we're going to see this sort of play throughout the entirety of this grand final. Exo and Melicide working in tandem with each other, and Huizness being that pesky third player that always happens to be at the right place at the right time. We'll have to see what Smartless have to do here. Their early aggression thwarted quite quickly here, so they are going to have to change up their strategy a little bit if they want to overpower Godsting in this area. Bit of a difficult spot to attack, admittedly, but definitely doable.
Do we know the locations or no? One inside east. One should be above. Sarcasm east of you, Mel. Who's east?
There's good communication from both sides there, as you can probably hear the chaos in the comms behind my voice here, as it does look like Nariko is starting to make his way in. Exo has managed to spot Counterweight spawning back in from the other direction, but doesn't realise that some of the members of Smartless are already pretty close. Counterweight is in position to strike here, but he may not realise that Huizness is still up top. And it does look like Nariko's going to go for it. He's going to dive in, throw an nade through, put some pressure. Huizness does manage to blow up the vehicle belonging to Sarcasm. Exotics does get the kill on Sarcasm though. And that last sneaky little push there from Smartless falling apart. 1 minute left on the clock here. This might be a very early round one win for Godsting here if Smartless aren't able to do anything. This would be quite an interesting development if Godsting are able to hold stage 1 defense here on the first round. Only 60 seconds left to go. Smartless have really got their work cut out for them already. And here they go. They've already spotted one of the members, both Lavois and both Huizness and Exo there holding it down, not giving any information away, but it does look like they are trying to get the point here. Nariko was providing the distraction whilst Sarcasm and Counterweight pushing on the point, and here we go, 28 seconds onto the clock. They do manage to get the objective. We've now reset the timer, 5 minutes left on the clock now, stage 2. They were able to just make it through and scrape through that first stage there. Fantastic play there by Sarcasm and Counterweight for Smartless. As Nariko having a little bit of difficulty getting back into this fight and getting caught out by what would be described in the community as GG Spawn. Meanwhile, Godsting not too flustered by losing that first stage straight away. It's very early days in this grand final. But they are looking around, trying to spot the members of Smartless, trying to flank around and get positions on them. Exo spotting Sarcasm there quite early. That could be problematic for Smartless's play here. But it does look like Device is starting to make his way in with Counterweight. Melicide picking up Sarcasm's flank there, not falling for that. Exo out of position here, not able to defend the points. He hasn't actually been informed yet, but here we go. Exo's moved in to try and put some pressure on. Nariko taking some damage there from Exotics, but firing back. Both members quite low health there, but Huisness coming in to sweep and sweep in from behind of the push from Smartless there, trying to get an angle onto Counterweight, who is eliminated with a grenade. Another team wipe there by Godsting onto Smartless. Very good defensive play here by Godsting, really holding this shopping mall down comfortably. It can be quite difficult on attack, admittedly, sometimes, as Exotics gets caught out there by Nariko. It can be quite difficult to defend this area, especially if the teams utilise all the entrances possible, both the double doors underneath and trying to get on top of the balcony above. But it does look like Device now is going to try and sneak in onto the point here. Good use of nades. There's Counterweight picks up Melicide. He is going to go for the point now. Sarcasm and Counterweight in position to provide cover. Exotics not in position here to help defend, but it does look like Sarcasm is going to pick up Huisness as well. Counterweight picking up Melicide. So Exo was the last left to defend. Not in position. We go to stage 3 now. 5 minutes left on the clock. 2 more places to 2 more objectives to set ablaze as we go over to the abandoned, what would we call this? The abandoned access ramp to the highway just south of Suji, I think it is. I can't remember his name. Crim spawn south of here somewhere, north of here somewhere. Nonetheless, Device is now starting to try and get control of this abandoned warehouse here, this derelict warehouse, as the members of Godsting are already primed and ready to defend from this position. Exo in the spot, ready to go. Both Melicide and Huisness just kind of floating around, seeing where the enemies are. Exo getting jump shot there by Nariko's Obeer. They have managed to take one of the points already, so we are starting to see a bit of a momentum shift from Godsting to Smartless. Smartless's ruthless aggression here starting to come out on top, and better coordination is really starting to prove potent against Godsting's defense here, and they are starting to slowly but surely pick away the defense of Godsting. Fantastic nade there by Device onto Huisness, known for being real pain in the backside for enemy teams, but Exo's in a great position here to put some pressure onto the point and prevent Smartless from even capping this, but he's going to get rushed by Sarcasm here. Is Exo going to keep calm under pressure? No, Sarcasm goes down to the Oscar gang represent. Meanwhile, Device is going to clean this one up and take it to a last stage for round 1, a single checkpoint capture and hold. Now, we have seen Smartless be sensational at this last stage. This is definitely their creme de la creme in terms of capability, and they're going to be very happy about this last stage. This is definitely in their favour. Godsting are going to have their work cut out. We have seen them through the tournament. Smartless proving that this last stage is definitely their cup of tea. And they do make it there first, and Sarcasm is going to get the early cap for Smartless here. So points on the scoreboard already. You know how this works. Once a team captures a point, they earn 1 point per every 2 seconds and can win either on having the most points out of both teams when the time runs out, or they cap their score and hit the maximum points required to win. And as we see, Device now managing to get eyes on to Exo there as Sarcasm gets a pick on Melicide. Exo trying to find a way in on this defense of Smartless as the tables have turned. Smartless now having to show their defensive prowess against what Godsting's methodical and organised and coordinated attacks usually are here. But good pick there from Nariko, finishing off Huisness as Exo desperately trying to find a way in. Both Sarcasm and Counterweight putting some pressure onto him there. And here comes Nariko trying to find and possibly take out Exo, no luck. Melicide getting a pick there on Counterweight though, as he starts to make his way up onto the balcony, trying to find Nariko here, but good pick there, finding a very awkward angle, not giving Melicide any sort of cover whatsoever. Exo now desperately trying to dive in onto the point, trying to take it and get some points for Godsting. But nothing yet. He is being caught out. Huisness does get a grenade kill onto Sarcasm. Nariko drops to Exotics. It's a 2v1 scenario here, or 3v1 scenario here for Counterweight. He's got all the work cut out for him if he wants to hold this for Smartless, and he's not going to. Godsting taking the point now. 4 minutes 50 left on the clock. And that early lead from Smartless slowly but surely ticking away. And they are going to make some sort of counterpush here. Both Sarcasm and Counterweight already in position to strike on this from the northeast or northwest side. And Nariko now providing cover, but getting naded by Exotics, who is trying to find an angle on him. But Nariko does also spot Melicide, who's in a bit of a predicament here. Hasn't got a lot of cover to work with, but Exo providing all the necessary cover there and support to keep Nariko at bay, while all three members of Godsting push out of their cover to put some pressure onto the Smartless attackers. Melicide getting the pick there on Sarcasm as he gets a little bit more damage on, but not enough to stop him. And Counterweight manages to sneak in and take the point from under Godsting's nose. This is going to be interesting. We'll have to see how things develop here as Counterweight does manage to pick up Exotics as he tries to flank round. Or rather, sorry, I got the information incorrect there. Counterweight did try to sneak the objective, but backed out a little bit early there. In the meantime, though, it does look like Godsting are going to be taking the lead here any second now, as that all-important lead slowly ticks away from Smartless's grip here. Counterweight under a lot of pressure there as Exotics finishes him off with the Obeer, both Melicide and Huizness just floating around nearby the objective. 3 minutes 20 left on the clock as Exo gets some pressure there from the respawn of Nariko. Gets back into his vehicle, stays safe. Both Counterweight and Nariko both opting to push together. That information being relayed to the other members of Godsting here so they can stay on top of where the enemy team is. Probably the most important information you can have in a match like this. They're looking for some sort of flanking opportunity or entry point elsewhere as they see the members of Godsting pushing further southeast and defending that direction a little bit more, with a bit more emphasis, as the lead has swapped. Godsting now starting to grow the lead. 2 minutes 40 left on the clock. Both teams kind of panicking a little bit here, but that vehicle in the middle is going to be the pretty important here. Nariko does manage to blow it up, does take out Exotic's vehicle as well, but they're both low HP here. Exo trying to get a nade onto Nariko, unsuccessful in doing so. He could blow up the blue van here. As Exo now trying to put some pressure onto the other members of Smartless, does get a fantastic 45 kill there. Counterweight does manage to get the pick on Melicide and will start to make his way towards the objective, but is putting a little bit of pressure onto Exotics first. But both Counterweight and Sarcasm now in range and in position to take this point. They are trying to get nades on. Exo trying to provide cover desperately here just to make sure that he can keep the two members of Smartless at bay. But here comes Device now from an angle they didn't see. Huizness now in trouble. He doesn't make he doesn't really make the most of it there, unfortunately, and isn't able to finish off Huizness, and will now have to compete with Exo and try to get him out of there so that he can provide some sort of cover for Counterweight and Sarcasm. Only 1 minute 35 left on the clock, and the lead from Godsting now quite convincing. Melicide's OCA coming in once again, finishing off Counterweight there. A 3v2 in favour of Godsting as we go into the closing seconds of this first round here. Nariko going to try and put some pressure on to Exotics and keep his Obeer at bay. Exo's Obeer proving quite the thorn in the side of Smartless here, as he is able to find fantastic angles and keep all three members practically at bay on his own, as once again putting some pressure down range, trying to keep Counterweight and Sarcasm on their toes. Really good use of the 45 there. He's probably going to finish off Nariko here. No, Nariko manages to turn it around, manages to flip it around in favour. Melicide does get the pick on Sarcasm though, the voice does get Counterweight, so Nariko's on his own, 45 seconds left on the clock, but not enough time for him to get over to the objective. It does look like round one, despite Smartless's early round efforts here, is going to go to Godsting. So an early lead there from Smartless, but taken away and flipped on its head as Godsting picked up the pace and takes round one of this grand finals. Fantastic plays from all 6 players there, all members of Smartless, all members of Godsting, really coming in clutch from both teams and providing some very important moments there. Nothing that really stood out for me just yet, but don't you worry, we will make use of that instant replay button as often as I possibly can here. I'm going to give it a quick test now, so bear with me as we have a look at the... Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, so ignore the instant replay button for now. I don't think that's working as intended. I will have to look into that for maybe next time. I'm just going to try the instant replay button again as we wait for round 2 to get started. As a reminder, Godsting will be on the attack this time with Smartless on the defence. We'll have to see if Smartless defence is going to be any better during the early stages here, as they could take a round back quickly if they can stop Godsting getting to last stage, but not good for Smartless, losing on their favoured final stage, ideally, based on their performance in the tournament. Let me just try this instant replay again. Nope, still nothing. Okay. I'm not going to risk doing that again. We're just going to keep it as it is. We'll say no instant replay this time around. Apologies.
I think there's some kick-off stages.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Linus, what do you want? You want to do it?
And so the next attack mission will be for Godsting, and they're looking to do Caught Napping. Will Smartless be able to replicate... Oh, was that G-Kings? I believe that was G-Kings... No, it was Slayham versus Lovers in the Air. I can't remember which match it was. But let's see if Godsting are going to catch Smartless napping on the defence. I will refrain from making too many jokes this stream, don't worry.
Сейчас просто подобрать айтем, сумку, потом сдать сумку.
And here we go. Round 2 is underway. Godsting on the attack, Smartless on the defence. Caught Napping is our attack mission here. And to begin off with, we have a single item grab. So they just need to press F on the item and that will take them to stage 2. I don't suspect both teams are going to fight over this too much. I suspect Smartless will probably just let Godsting take this first objective. It can be grabbed in so many different ways, very quickly and very efficiently. I don't see Smartless really holding on here. And nope, there we go, first item picked up, we're on to stage 2. A 5-minute single item drop off here. As there's a bit of exchange of phone numbers there for insurance purposes as they crash into each other with their Vegases. Meanwhile, Device trying to get a pick there on one of the members of Godsting. No luck. Huizeness does manage to get first blood and take out counterweight. Melicide pushing in now, trying to take the item out. Is able to do so. I think they're going to get that comfortably into one of their into one of their vehicles as Exotics picks up Sarcasm there. Huizeness now pushing in to try and find Device, but Device holding on for dear life. Does get a very nice kill there on Huizeness, but ultimately not in a position here to stop the item. So he's going to be relying on both Counterweight and Sarcasm to hold the drop-off here whilst he gets there. But the other members of Godsting are already on their way. Melicide and Melicide on his own there, getting the item as close as he can to the drop-off in time as Huizeness joins Exotics in his vehicle to help back the attack, whilst also putting a little bit of pressure onto Sarcasm's vehicle there. They have managed to get the item just on the opposite side of the building, as Counterweight now getting caught out there by the remaining members of Godsting. Huizeness getting the pick there. Melicide now able to get the drop quite comfortably as neither members of Smartless able to really stop this quick offensive from Godsting. We go to another drop-off now. We need to stop 2 deliveries from happening. Not we, but Smartless need to stop 2 deliveries from happening now. Melicide will have the items. It's valuable information for Smartless. Are they going to utilise that? That's the question. And it does look like they're trying to slow him down a bit. Oh, very good flick over there. A quick swap from one vehicle to the other there, keeping Device alive in between the gunfire. And it does look like Sarcasm was able to get a fantastic nade onto Melicide's vehicle. The items are down. Exo and Huizeness now going to have to retrace their steps and grab these items quickly. Huizeness able to get the pick on Sarcasm here, but here we go. A bit of a fight out for these items. Exo trying to get some early nades out, push and flush the defenders out from cover as a fantastic nade there finds its mark on Counterweight and gets the pick as Device desperately trying to hold on, unable to do so. Melicide picking him off there. Both Exo and Huizeness now rushing to get to the drop-off as quickly as possible and not let the respawns of Smartless be in their favour. So despite where Smartless spawn, it's not going to look good for them. They are going to be out of position with no vehicles. Sarcasm does manage to get the pick on Melicide though, but he's not the one with the item, as the two members of Godsting uncontested as they drop off this money. Now Counterweight is there at the drop off, but he's not going to be able to do too much on his own here. To the dynamic duo of Huizness and Exotics, they are able to drop it off safely and will take them to stage 4, a single raid. And it does look like the members of Smartless now able to catch up with the attackers' advance and able to get to the defense point first. Sarcasm and Counterweight opting to set up underneath and hold short near the objective, whereas Naruko going to use his Obeah most likely on the highway. Scratch that, he's decided to launch himself off the highway and hopefully run a bit of a distraction here, opting to hold short as well from underneath. But the members of Godsting will take that opportunity and take the overpass. As Sarcasm does get a pick on Melicide, but is heavily damaged. Levoice now also getting a pick on Nadeko there. Again, not the best decision I think he could have made there. Probably best if he went on the highway to defend. But no matter. Exo now looking for the last member of Smartless, who is waiting nearby. Sarcasm and his Oscar proving quite effective in these close quarter encounters and managing to catch out Exo from behind. Counterweight's respawn coming in clutch there for Smartless. As all three members of Smartless now back in the game, back in the fight, and back in the objective location and able to hold, hopefully, for the next 2 minutes and 35 seconds. If they're able to do so, they'll take a round off Godsting and balance the books early here. Will we see a slaughter and a gruesome fight back and forth all the way to a tiebreaker? Exo now respawning, trying to find possibly the highway as Sarcasm has spotted him early here. We'll have to see if this makes any sort of impact. No, he just abuses Sarcasm's Vegas and makes it do a little tumble as he joins Nadeko on the highway now. And they will be doing some Vegas jousting here, most likely, trying to goad each other out of their vehicles early and put pressure on, or at least run a distraction. Counterweight is the only member of Smartless actually defending the point and have angles on the point. Meanwhile, Nadeko there trying to snuff out Exo throwing any sort of nade or damaging the vehicle. Exo utilising cover well there, able to get in and out of the vehicle quickly and put some damage onto Sarcasm's vehicle. Counterweight now able to get the pick on Melicide, but Huizness does get the pick on Counterweight. It's now going to be a bit of a race here as Huizness tries to get onto the objective. Sarcasm and Nadeko still alive. Nadeko able to get the gravity kill there on Exotics as he drops down. And Huizness now opting not to push the objective, will stay hidden, stay in position close by to push. And Sarcasm and Nadeko, no idea where he is at the moment. Counterweight down below, trying to find him in the meantime, as Exotics uses his car spawner to respawn, gets a quick kill onto Device. That could prove crucial, as Sarcasm is the only one left. Levoice down, going for the point. Counterweight gets a fantastic nade to him as Melicide now, trying to find the members of Sarcasm now dead. 2 rights by Exotics. Fantastic 2-burst Obeah there. Fantastic grenade there by one of the members of Smartless, taking out the ground beneath his feet. Exotics taking a lot of fall damage there. Could be problematic. Melicide able to kill Counterweight and take the objective. 4 minutes left on the clock now for stage 5. Smartless almost able to close off this round here on the defense, but just falling apart with minutes and seconds to spare as we go to stage 5. Fantastic encounter there from both teams.
200 meters away from the point.
And they're already on the point, not wasting any time here. Godsting taking a leaf out of the attacking playbook for Smartless, going for quick objective captures, not letting them set up, not taking any chances, well, taking chances actually, rather, for that matter. Good tracking there from Nadeko, getting a lot of damage on Exotics and able to stop him. And that's a team wipe by Smartless onto Godsting. Nadeko getting the pick on Melicide and Exotics, and Sarcasm completing the set by killing Huizness. This is a pretty difficult spot to attack, actually, for that matter, but nades will definitely be are flying in this area. Both teams will opt to probably change their loadouts a little bit to compensate for this area, as Exo now trying to sneak his way into the building from behind in this little courtyard area. But the only way in is either jumping over the fence or climbing over the wall, or jumping over the wall or climbing over the fence rather, both giving away your position quite quickly. And then he has a double door to go through. Smartless opting not to open that double door early to make it sort of perimeter alarm, letting them know when the other team is going to push through and giving them a split second to react to it if necessary. Counterweight and Nariko now waiting indoors as Levoice does get the pick on to Sarcasm, but they're going to have to move quickly, otherwise the longer they wait, the longer Smartless, or in this case Sarcasm, has to get back into this fight. He has respawned. Nade under the door there from Exotics as he kicks open the door, trying to get a nade onto Nariko, who gets pinned by both Huizness and Exotics there, both nade, good use of nades, etc. And here comes the push from Godsting. They're pushing all in together. Levoice getting the pick down. Nariko, Exotics finishing off counterweight as Melicide now trying to get the pick on Sarcasm. Does indeed do so. Blows up his vehicle with him in it. And they are able to get a systematic elimination and team wipe of Smartless there. And able to take the point very efficiently. 5 minutes left on the clock. And another raid point to go now. Will Smartless get there in time before the Godsting snowball really starts to pick up speed here? It's back at the Enforcer spawn point, the Samparo Police Department, or just around the back side of it, near the visitors parking around the side, and it is a van that they need to break into, as Melicide gets the Pips device to the post there and prevents him from doing any sort of meaningful damage, as Melicide will now take the points with relative ease, as the last few members of Smartless try to trickle in and stop the cap here, unable to do so, as it's a heavy item, I believe, and they are going to use the Paca Soresco to just get to the drop-off as quickly as they can, but it does look like Smartless are getting the same idea here, doing a bit of a Chinese fire drill as they change seats in their Koi Wolf, and will opt to try and stop this vehicle as soon as possible. Very fortunate of them to be there, and they are going to try and get damage onto this vehicle as much as possible as they close in and pincer this Soresco. Now, it is a heavy item, and if they've got car spawner in one of those vehicles, that could be problematic for them. And we are going to have a fight in the street here as Levoice gets the opening kill on counterweight. Sarcasm gets the pick on Exotics. Huizness also picking up Nariko there. And they are trying to quickly mobilize and get this item moving, but they really won't have long on the clock here. Only a couple of seconds before the members of Smartless respawn back in. And good heavens, they've got some fantastic spawns here. Exotics catching Sarcasm's respawn and able to stop him before he does anything. And now it's all going to be down to how quickly can Godsting mobilize and get that item moving. Counterweight now providing enough distraction, letting the other members of Smartless trickle back in and defend this item. That's all he needs to really do here. And it's proving beneficial as he tries to dive in. Does get the kill on Exotics there. Through thick and thin, uses the NFA9 to great effect. And now Godsting in a bit of a situation here. They've got a heavy item in the middle of the street. Not a great place to hold it. And now, Smartless with the advantage. 4 minutes 30 on the clock. They have a long time to hold, but it does look like Melicide's going to try and sneak the item into the car. Does so, but dies doing so. So it does look like Smartless are going to put nades onto the vehicles and take all the vehicles out, so there are no vehicles nearby for them to sneak the heavy item into. And this does look like a reset, and it does look like Godsting now are going to take a break in just a second here to reorganize another attack. But this is giving Smartless all the time they need to prep, get their ammo, get ready for another push here. And here we go. It does look like Godsting are on the move. I think he's going to catch Nariko off guard if he doesn't spot him in time. Nariko's really in trouble here. Really didn't hear the move. Nariko dead instantly. As Sarcasm does manage to run over Huizness, it's a 2v2 scenario now as Counterweight's in a lot of trouble, caught in the open, but does manage to get a lot of damage off onto Exotics here. Gets an early nade, does miss it though, unfortunately. Melicide trying to put some pressure onto Counterweight, does so. Sarcasm's now in a bit of an out of position here, not really able to put too much pressure, but at the same time, Godsting don't have a vehicle nearby to put the heavy item into. They are able to blow up the car though, and they are going to get the heavy item into one of their team vehicles, and they are going to be able to make the move here. But Conveniently for Smartless, their spawns have been favourable. They have managed to spawn close to the drop-off, which is going to be crucial for them here, but it does look like they're going to try and get some damage early on. Fantastic grenade there by Nariko, getting Melicide down. The heavy item is down right outside the drop-off. This could be problematic for Smartless. Ideally, they probably would have wanted to stop it a little bit further away, but beggars can't be choosers. 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes left on the clock now, as Godsting desperately try to put some pressure onto this drop-off and try to displace the defending members of Smartless. Seeing if they can try and sneak the item in. Huizness trying to do that, unable to do so, getting picked off there by Nariko as Sarcasm picks up Exotics. It's another team wipe by Smartless onto Godsting. Melicide not really going to be able to do much on his own here. And all 3 members of Smartless up and ready to defend. Only 2 minutes 20 left on the clock. Some say that would be plenty of time, but others would say that's no time at all. They're going to have to really formulate a quick attack strategy here if they really want to maximize the time they have left. But could Smartless hold it here and balance the books and make this a 1-1 as we go to round 3? Well, the next 2 minutes will reveal all as we go down to the last 120 seconds of this stage. Members of Godsting sitting up on the overpass, managing to get the early pick there on Device. A coordinated strike finishing him before he could do anything. Sarcasm now in trouble as he gets chased away by Exotics. Exotics getting a lot of damage onto him there. Melicide now coming in to sweep and pick. Counterweight does manage to get the pick on Huizness now, but Sarcasm in a lot of trouble. He's probably heavily damaged, and that grenade is going to cause a lot of problems for him as Exotics manages to catch him as he comes up the ladder. Nariko desperately trying to dive straight back in and put some pressure on as Exotics holds Counterweight at bay. Nariko now able to pick off Exotics, but he's not able to stop the drop as Melicide gets the drop there for Godsting, and they're able to try and sneak the item out a little bit. They aren't able to get far, though. The other members of Smartless nearby the item now, but one member of Godsting still alive. Huizness holding an angle. This is going to give Godsting ample time to respawn, get a vehicle at the ready, and take the item and go. And in fact, that's exactly what they're doing. Exo snuck the item over the wall as Huizness now comes in to pick off Nariko, who's on pursuit. And in the meantime, all 3 members of Godsting now coordinating, organising, and starting to make a move with that medium item. Sarcasm and Counterweight from Smartless here, trying to put some sort of pressure on and slow them down a little bit, but not really able to do too much as Melicide breaks through the blockade and is now on his way to the Godsting team drop. As soon as they drop that item, it's points on the board. 6 minutes left on the clock for this last stage. It's all up to Smartless now if they want to stay in this fight, really. A bit of a pursuit chase here as the vehicle of Godsting under a lot of pressure there, but they are able to get it in. A fantastic drop-off, actually, for Godsting. This is going to be quite easy for them to defend, and indeed the points start coming in for Godsting as they complete the item drop-off. It's now all up to Smartless and what they're able to pull off here. This is going to be incredibly difficult for them to retake. This is right deep within one of the enforcer spawn points and right behind a car spawn, or in a car garage actually for that matter. There's plenty of cover on the walls here, making it very difficult for grenades to catch people off guard. But most importantly, there's only realistically 2 ways into this building, through the car park and through the front door. This is going to be very difficult for Smartless to retake here, but they are in position, ready to pounce. Sarcasm watching the front door, Counterweight watching the garage door, probably going to dive in with his vehicle, but he needs to be careful. Those nades are going to be problematic. Exotics caught off guard here as Counterweight dives straight in. The nade finds purchase as Melicide manages to get a nade kill onto Counterweight there. Nariko diving out, does manage to get the OCA kill there onto Exotics. Melicide managing to pick him up, but Sarcasm trades, kills Huizness. Sorry, it was Huizness who killed Nariko there. And Sarcasm does manage to pick up Melicide as well. They've been able to, on their first push, take the item and go. That car spawner right next to where the item drop is going to be hugely helpful for Smartless to take the item and go. But how there too many blown up vehicles in the access ramp out? That's the question. Not in this case. They've been able to get out safely and are now going to try and dive all their way through. They've got a kilometre to travel to get to their drop-off. This is going to be a bit of an uphill struggle, and in the meantime the members of Godsting are going to try and slow them down as much as possible. To no avail though. Fantastic ramming, and they have lost the vehicle in the process though. Smartless do lose their vehicle and lose a bit of time here. 3 minutes 40 left on the clock. Meanwhile, the members of Godsting still have a car spawn or mobile car spawner available, and Exotics is going to use his CR762 to full effect here. Very good against players and vehicles alike. That Soresco is not going to survive its journey to the objective, as Counterweight tries to put some pressure on here, and Nariko desperately tries to put some pressure onto the Vegas as well, and as well Exotics to stop him from shooting the vehicle. They have dropped the item though in the middle of the street. Needs to be careful. Sarcasm almost got run over by, I think that's Huizness. No, that was Melicide. Instead, the vehicle's critically damaged now. It's going to be a fight in the street. 34 points on the scoreboard for... oh, and there's a bit of a communication problem there as Nariko and Sarcasm pick up a team wipe against Godsting. A bit of a fumble there from Godsting as they try to mobilise quickly, and Smartless completely trounced them there, giving them ample time to get going, get to their drop-off and drop that item off. And unfortunately for Godsting, they didn't get the best spawns here, but not too bad. They are compensated a little bit as they spawn just outside a gas station and will respawn their team vehicles to try and get on the pursuit of this item as quickly as they can. Meanwhile, Smartless are able to get the item near their drop, but haven't been able to drop it yet. It's a little bit of a more open area. This is going to be easier for Godsting to push an attack from. Smartless are going to have a lot of difficulty trying to hold this, but they need to get the item dropped first. They can't afford to lose anyone. Counterweight does manage to get the kill on Melicide. It's a 3v2 now in favour of Smartless, as the two members of Godsting pressured heavily there by Device in his charge something or other. Charge Sentinel, I believe that is. A little bit of damage there onto LaVoice as Exotics fires back. Both Huizness and Exotics now trying to push this drop. As the points start rolling in for Smartless, they have managed to successfully drop the item now. As Nariko tries to find Melicide, gets a good nade on, doesn't really find Purchase, as Exotics now gets a nade on to Nariko from behind. He doesn't even respond to that, and Exo just gets a free kill there. Melicide now starting to push in from the side, and Exotics diving straight onto the point. Both Melicide and Exotics diving onto the point now, trying to get the item off the drop, and are able to do so. They're going to try and sneak the item out. Melicide's going to try and sneak this into a vehicle and let Godsting run away with it here, and indeed they do. They get back into one of their Vegases, and they are off, whilst also finishing off Sarcasm and Counterweight in the process. Now it's a back and forth once again. Only a minute left on the clock, and they are going to be rushing to go to their drop-off as they are slowly making their way. I don't think they're even going to be able to make it to their drop-off in time here, with only 40 seconds left and 800 meters to go, but they are going to be chased down by Smartless. But I don't think there's enough time left on the clock here for Smartless to really convert this and get this back. I think they're going to give up here with only 30 seconds left on the clock. Godsting are going to take round 2 here. A much closer fight though. Much closer fight there by Smartless against Godsting, but Godsting able to just beat them out once again and will take this to 2-0 in the grand finals. With 5 seconds left to go on the clock, and no random upsets at the last second. No, that's 2-0 to Godsting early on. So it's up to round 3 now. Smartless will be on the attack, Godsting on the defense once again. Will we see Godsting able to stop Smartless before they get to a final stage? But this is not looking good for Smartless. It's looking quite ropey for them. They are going to have to up their game here. They are sticking it to Godsting, but again, like other teams going up against Godsting, they are able to put a lot of pressure down, but they're not able to convert that into a round win. So despite the successes that Smartless had during that match, or during that round and the previous round as well, weren't able to convert it into a round win by securing that last stage. So, early 2-0 here for Godsting, but it is still all to play for. We have seen Smartless come back from this and take the win, and we've seen them clutch in stickier situations before. So we'll just see what happens next. And we'll hopefully see Smartless come back and put a bit of pressure onto Godsting, make this grand finals a little interesting.
Но они там в окне катаются, и я ничего...
Мы не могли рассеться до этого просто. Они уже подъехали как раз.
Да, good shit though, regardless. Really good hold on the drop off. We got a lot of points. I kind of screwed up as well though, because I died to the Wismission.
I'm just waiting for both teams here to get ready for round 3. So they have a little bit of a discussion about what happened, what went wrong, what they can do better, and hopefully adjust their strategy accordingly to take this next round. Smartless are going to be going on the attack with box lock and 52 barrel, but they do need a minute, so we're going to give them a quick second here just to get ready, and then we'll be right back in for round 3.
It's time to vape. Хоть оно не падайте сейчас.
Да не, нормально все.
Можем нормально вернуться.
Нужна канистра, бомба, взлом.
Check right side.
Взлом чего? Какая отмычка?
Push left side.
Кочерга. И кочерга лучше.
When I check
Поставил.
right side.
Что, блядь, у вас решение нихуя не легкое, ну ладно.
Left side is boosting more.
Мы типа на миксах не
Oh,
участвуем.
Yeah.
I don't hear it anymore though. Блядь. Still playing it, because I'm hearing something else.
Это вармап был. Папа так играет. Сейчас ебать будет.
Fucking loud, that's all I know.
Прикалывает, что все ближние точки просто.
The fucking sound even fucked up, it like cut out, like
Да, это
really weird.
бокс.
О, походу, да, киточки. Не было ближних, не все ближние были, но те мы просто не приезжали. Ну, может, там, когда тачку делали, она вообще стояла там.
Я даже не видел это.
Готово, да?
Alright,
Да.
here we go.
It looks like both teams are now ready to go. They've had a little bit of a discussion. And once again, Smartless will be on the attack for round 3 here, with Godsting on the defense. This is box locked and 52 something barrel. I can't remember the name of the mission already. I swear I'm paying attention.
It'd be fair, man. Are you ready?
Here we go.
And any second now, round 3 will be underway. 2-0 to Godsting. And after this round, remember, both teams will swap factions as we go to round 4, and we'll have a brief, quick 5-10 minute break to let them reorganise and get ready for that. And here we go! Nonetheless, round 3 is underway. Smartless on the attack. Godsting on the defence. The mission, box lock and .52 barrel, or .52 barrel. To begin, one single arson for the objective with 5 minutes on the clock. It does look like the members of Smartless are opting to go for
One is going to this spot though.
hit and run sort of strategy here, do it as quickly as possible, but unfortunately not able to do so. Melicide has beaten him to the objective first, and here come the other members of Godsting in hot pursuit, ready to fight it out. Not the best of objective locations for Smartless here, out in the open facing towards the main street. Could be very problematic for them. There are plenty of little angles here that long-range weapons can make advantage and use of. Or can take advantage and make use of, rather. As the damage comes out there, Exotic's vehicle on fire and taken care of as Exotics backs off. In the meantime, Smartless now trying to just encircle the objective, get a bit of a foothold, assert dominance, and then hopefully take the objective. But as you can see here, Exotics using the police station roof, which is going to be hugely problematic for Smartless on the attack here, as that can see the objective from there, and the only way to see them back is to get onto the highway proper, unless you have the ranged weapon to do so. Exotics putting some damage onto Sarcasm's vehicle in the meantime. Nariko reciprocating the same sort of message to Melicide's vehicle there. Sorry, that's Huizna's vehicle. I keep getting the two mixed up. As Nariko's trying to find an angle on Exotics, but Exotics isn't there. He's waiting underneath. And in the meantime, both members, or all three members of Smartless, holding the overpass here as best they can, using the I-bar structures on the overpass there for quick cover. Counterweight, holding close, getting caught out by Huizna's N-Tech there, good use. Nariko now opting to back off as Exo tries to get a nade onto Sarcasm as Melicide pushes him into position. Tries to predict where he's going to go. The nade does do a little bit of damage. Sarcasm's going to have to jump out here in a minute. The damage is adding up on the vehicle as Nariko now takes the car park and is going to be able to potentially get a good angle on Exo here. He doesn't realise Exo in a lot of trouble. And Nariko fumbles it. Exo in a lot of trouble though. He won't be able to support too much here, but Nariko fumbled a potential kill there. Not good. He's still there though. He doesn't realise, and Exotics gets caught out by Nariko still on the car park. And although he relayed the information, he wasn't able to assist, and Huizna's now going to defend from the other side, and Melicide just going to stick in a vehicle and put pressure on the point. They can just hold it from the outside here without too many issues, and they only need to hold on for a couple of seconds as here comes Exotics once again, coming in now from the southeast side. Won't be able to see Nariko from where he is, but he will be able to move in, provide support, and stop Nariko from really being able to do too much damage here. Sarcasm is desperately trying to get onto the point. Nariko relinquishing the highway here to try and get a better angle on the defenders as Exotics just runs in and does the point, and it looks like he's going to try and do the point. No luck, unfortunately. Exotics jumps out, turns the face, and finishes off the members of Smartless there. Nice little two-man there as Huizna's fixes to finish off counterweight and gets a team wipe on Smartless there. This is looking desperate now for Smartless. Only 60 seconds left on the clock for this first stage. Are Godsting going to shut them out on stage 1 here? This is looking really problematic now for Smartless. They need to get some sort of momentum going here, or this could be the end of the tournament for them. And they will go home with $600.
They're gonna rush the point. I think.
And it looks like, yeah, Smartless are reverting back to standard tactics, hit and run, quick rush, and distraction, anything in their playbook to try and get this objective. It's a really bad spot for them, unfortunately, but Godsting really putting up one hell of a defense here. As Nariko desperately tries to find angles, Huizna's does pick up Sarcasm. Counterweight now trying to put a vehicle in line of sight of Exotics so that he can't get an angle on the objective. Counterweight desperately trying to do the point now as Melicide dives in. Exotics does get the kill on Counterweight. Melicide is going to move the vehicle. 10 seconds left on the clock. Nariko really not in a position to do this objective. They're going to drop this. They're going to be down 3-0 if he can't get over in the next 3 seconds. No! 3-0 to Godsting this early on. This is really, really, really bad for Smartless. They're going to have to do something after this 5-minute break. But, good heavens, they shut them out in stage 1. Well, already early issues and problems for Smartless here. Already 3 rounds down in the grand finals. They're really going to have to up their game here as we give them a quick 5-10 minute break to swap factions. But so far, Godsting, despite a couple of fumbles and despite a couple of miscommunications, they were able to come out on top and take a very commanding 3-0 victory, and with that putting them on match point already for the grand finals. They only need to win one more round of this match and Godsting will be crowned your 2022 series APB Reloaded Tournament champions. So Smartless got all the work cut out for them here. If they even want to stand a chance of beating Godsting, they're going to have to win 3 rounds in a row and beat them on a tiebreaker as we go into the second half of this match. Looking very, very, very bad for Smartless here. They're not really able to get anything going whatsoever. They have been able to do some pretty cool plays. They've been able to get some pretty interesting things going, but it's not adding up to the full equation. And as a result, not able to get a round off Godsting. It's been a very, very, very powerful outing from Godsting the entire time. They've only dropped 2 rounds this entire tournament, and statistically, looking at Smartless, they have dropped 5 rounds this tournament so far. So already we can see statistically Godsting are probably in a better position, but we are aware of what Smartless are capable of. And if they are able to get their playbook going and they're able to play the mission their way, we could definitely see things turning around. But the pressure's on. It's crunch time now for Smartless. They cannot afford to lose a single round. And as soon as they do, Godsting will be crowned your winners. So, will Smartless be able to reverse sweep Godsting to a tiebreaker? Or will Godsting secure a clean sweep in the finals and beat Smartless 4-0? Well, you're going to find out in the next 5 to 10 minutes as teams here are just getting ready to go. It does look like Godsting are prepared and ready, but it does look like the members of Smartless still getting into their accounts, still swapping characters and just getting into the district. And just as a reminder, from the winners of this tournament will receive $1,200 of the $2,100 prize pool. Second place will go home with $600 under their name, and the winner of the losers final, which will be taking place right after this grand final between Slayem and G-Kings, will go home in third place with $300. So, something for everyone here in the last day of this 2022 Series Open Tournament. Both Slayem and G-Kings definitely having a much easier ride at the start. Maybe G-Kings doing a little bit better than Slayem, possibly, but Slayem, I think, arguably having the harder of the 2 matches in the semi-finals there. So, it's up for grabs for the losers final, and I genuinely do not know which of those teams are going to go home in third place. Slayem and G-Kings proving very, very potent teams, but again, I really don't know which one's going to come out on top. I think that one's going to be a much, much, much closer match than what we're seeing here so far. But so far, a very, very, very impressive outing from Godsting. Even with the couple of mistakes that they've made and couple of communication errors that they've done and some questionable plays on occasion, they have managed to come out on top and are sailing away with this in the finals 3-0. I think they're going to be still very focused, still very determined, but I think the pressure's off. I don't think they're going to be as nervous anymore, and as a result, we're probably going to see them playing even better now than they were in those first couple of rounds. Whereas for Smartless, the pressure's on. They have to win everything. They cannot afford to lose a single round now, otherwise they go home second. So the pressure is definitely going to be on for them, but will the pressure be what they need to step their game up a notch? Well, in the next few minutes, we'll find out. So stay tuned, as we will be returning to the footage very soon. Welcome back. It looks like both teams are ready to continue, so we shall bring you back to the live feeds for round 4. Match point for Godsting as they go into this round 3-0, but Godsting will be on the attack with open and shut case.
Like one of them, yeah. I have no fucking idea.
It looks like both teams are ready to go. This could be the last round of the finals here as we wait for that all-important start. Potentially the last mission start we will see of this finals.
Sounds like one of the new ones, right? Right next to us. Go inside quick, trust.
And the mission has started. Here we go. Godsting match point for open and shut case on the attack with Smartless on the defense. It is a 2-raid point, but they are quite far away from each other here. And the comms are wild already as they are already getting first blood. Melicide getting the pick there on Elani straight off the bat.
That's fine, we have 5 minutes for the next one.
And they are going to immediately dive in and take Objective A as the members of Smartless now looking to set up and defend Objective B, losing the potential to split the team here a little bit, but probably the best option as there's only 3 of them. Exo now opting to take the highway and try and provide all-important Overwatch. Does manage to spot Alani, does get the pick on Alani. Or Alanix, however you want to say it, but here come the members of Smartless now trying to get angles onto the defense point as the other members of Godsting will now opt to try and move in and start taking the objective. Whilst Nariko is distracted potentially, good early nade there, trying to get some damage onto the vehicle, just misses the vehicle, slightly short of its target. Instead, he's going to opt to try and stay possibly out of range of exotics and instead just provide cover and overwatch on the objective. In the meantime, though, Exo trying to find the other members of Smartless, both Counterweight and Sarcasm just waiting around. One of them is Alani. Huisness getting the pick there on Arents, though. Alani still alive there for Smartless, as well as Nariko, who are having a bit of an aim duel there with exotics. Melicide now starting to sneak onto the point and do the objective. Nariko in a lot of trouble here. Exo able to get the kill there, and I think they're going to take this stage quite comfortably in the next couple of seconds as Melicide continues to do the objective unopposed, and we go to stage 2. A 2-item drop-off as Huisness there gets a pick on Alani. Nariko does get the pick on exotics there. Sorry, I got the 2 teams the wrong way round. Apologies.
I'm griefing this guy. I request jumping from my way.
Good grenade there by exotics as Nariko puts damage and pressure on. Both members die though, so we're going to be without a feed of what's going on for the next couple of seconds as both streamers die there and kind of trade. Exo getting the pick on Nariko there and Arents returning the favour and picking off exotics there. The items are being moved to the drop-off now, and it does look like they are going to get it dropped as Alanix tries to get there in time, unable to do so. And we go to stage 3 now. 2 raid objectives. Again, not too far apart from each other, but far enough apart that once one has been done, the defenders will probably have enough time to set up on the second before Godsting make a push in, as Huisness gets picked up there by Nariko. In the meantime, Exotics and Melicide now trying to decide which one to go for. Probably opting to go for the one further away, as I don't think there are any members of Smartless defending Objective F at the moment.
No, nice.
6 minutes 20 on the clock here for Smartless to defend. They could hold it here potentially, but ultimately I think this is going to go to last stage. We'll have to wait and see though. Looks like we're seeing a weapon swap here, and it looks like Nariko will be swapping to the OCA for this close quarters arena to help defend G, as Alanix does manage to find Exo and drop him instantly. Good use of the Oscar there. Oscar gang running wild. Melicide does get the pick on Alanix though and returns the favour. So a 2v2 situation once again as Huizness now picks up Arentz. And Nariko left on his own in almost in no man's land, holding the hallways nearby objective G here as he spots Melicide on his way in from one direction. He isn't going to spot Exotics here, but he needs to keep an eye out for Huizness, as all three of them are probably going to push in together here and really put the pressure onto Nariko's defense. But where are the other two members of Smartless? They need to be here. Good damage there by Exotics, and Huizness picks up the kill there for Godsting. Now the other members of Smartless now pushing in. Arentz does get the pick on Melicide, but Huizness returns the favour, drops Arentz there. Last member of Smartless in, it's Alanix. Is he going to pick off Exotics? No. Instead, he's going to fumble there. Oscar not coming in clutch there, unfortunately. And Godsting able to take this objective comfortably. So we move on to stage 4 now. 2 items to be dropped off, 1 medium, or both might be medium actually. I'm not sure the nature of the second item. However, the drop-off isn't that far away from where they just raided, so Smartless kind of in a bit of a situation here. They didn't realise that the drop-off was going to be so close. Meanwhile, Alanix and Nariko trying to dive in as Huizness now gets caught off by both Alanix. Is he going to drop it off in time? No, he's opting to hold for just a moment as Alanix picks up Nariko there. Exo there, but not before Exo could get the kill on Nariko. It's a 1v1 situation. Melicide waiting outside, ready to strike, but opting not to dive in, as Alanix is still there, ready and waiting. Alanix able to pick up Melicide there then, definitely, as Nariko starts to make his way back in. Exo does manage to find... I didn't see who that was. I think that was Arentz that he was able to spot there. No, it was Alanix that he was able to spot. And here comes Nariko from behind, going to put some pressure onto Exotics as he tries to make his way to cover, gets back into his vehicle. Exo going to cover and probably going to push from that direction. No, he's opting to possibly double back here, trying to throw them off his scent a little bit as he tries to make his way in. But Nariko already back in to defend here, as Exo, Huizness and Melicide all throw grenades in to saturate the drop-off. Find nobody though. And all 3 members of Godsting now pushing in hard as Huizness gets the first pick on Alani. Nariko now in a lot of trouble as he gets picked off by Exo and Huizness, and Melicide coming in through to pick off the last member of Smartless. A Godsting team wipe against Smartless there. Fantastic play as we go to the last stage. It's an item hold and the item drops and the item spawns on the drop-off. So Godsting are going to get the very early start on this last stage. This could be it for the tournament. Godsting now only have to hold this item and keep the lead for the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds, or if they can hold it for just 230 more, they will be crowned the winners of the 2022 series APB tournament. It is all to play for and all on the line for Smartless here. And Smartless now desperately trying to make their way in quickly. Nariko swapping back to the OCA, probably the smartest option here considering where the item is, as Alanix and Arentz now try to find a way in. Nariko trying to push in as well and put some pressure on the defending members of Godsting as Melicide gets the first opening salvo there against Alanix and gets the kill. Exo spotting Arentz there, dropping in with ease with no opposition, as Nariko finally does get the entry kill there onto Exotics and will start to make his way onto the drop. On his own, though, against Huizness and Melicide, and Huizness not taking any prisoners, picking off Nariko before he can set up and disappear.
Check the east, southeast and northeast.
With 5 minutes 40 left on the clock and 40 points already under Godsting's belt, they really don't have that much time left to hold before they win this tournament. So Smartless are really going to have to pick up their socks now, or pull up their socks and really pick up the pace here. Arentz does manage to get an NFA 9 kill on Melicide though. Good use there as Exo, quick to react and able to take out Nariko's repeak there. Huizness also picking off Alanix as well, so Arentz is on his own once again, trying to make a desperate push to try and grab the item. They were able to do so, so Smartless are now holding the item. barely. Arentz does get dropped there finally, so all 3 members of Smartless dropped once again. Godsting take the item back. 4 minutes 50 now on the clock as Smartless start to make their way back in once again. Exo desperately looking around for the spawn points as early as he can, so they don't let Smartless into this courtyard. Nariko has spotted Meliside, but isn't able to do anything from here, as he has only got the OCA in the 45, so no range on him. Alanix now trying to dive in and open the side door to get into the hallway where the item is going to be. Does get pre-naded a little bit, but I think dodges the majority of that. Exo now in a lot of trouble as Alanix starts to push in from behind. Alanix in a lot of trouble now, and Huisness getting a 2-kill there on both Alanix and Nariko. Exo now desperately looking for the last member. Arentz getting a jump shot Obeah kill, 2 jump shot Obeah kill onto Arentz, and able to comfortably provide another team wipe for Godsting against Smartless. Godsting really putting the pressure on, saying, no, this tournament, we're going to win it. We are definitely winning this tournament no matter what, and not really giving Smartless any opportunity to make any sort of headway and grab the item at all. But they have managed to hold this very well, Godsting. Unbelievably impressive performance here from them in the finals. As Smartless desperately try to find a way back in, but the time is against them as there's only 40 points left in it. Godsting only need to hold the objective for 80 more seconds and they will be crowned your champions for this tournament. But here comes Nariko. He's managed to find a way in. Got a pick on Huisness. Huisness would have relayed that information, but Exo now in position to stop him. And here comes both Nariko and Alanix as they try to make a push onto the point here. Nariko going to grab the item for Smartless here as Alanix tries to put some pressure on both Meliside and Exo, pushed out of the location. And Smartless able to quickly dive in and secure the objective hallways as well as the item itself. Kicking open the doors, opening up the hallways there as much as they can so they can see angles and push through and throw nades through. That's also important. But Godsting only need 19 points to win this, and Smartless will need to hold this indefinitely if they want to win. This is going to be a huge uphill struggle for Smartless. Can they do it here and now? In the meantime, though, Godsting just preparing a strategic push here where all members will push in at the same time. Smartless are trying to push out and put some pressure on that. In the meantime, though, they have managed to push in and grab the item. Nariko now holding us for dear life against all 3 members of Godsting, as Godsting were able to systematically remove Alanix and Arentz from the fight there. Huisness really coming in clutch for Godsting and proving to be that menace and the thorn in the side of Smartless completely. As I mentioned at the start of this fight, Huisness is going to be the one to watch. Meliside and Exo work in perfect tandem with each other, but Huisness does the thing on his own, and it's really coming down to the wire now as Smartless doing everything they can to get back onto the point as quickly as possible. 10 seconds left to go in this match. If only 10 more seconds go on with Godsting holding the item, they will win. 4 seconds, 2 seconds, and your champions of the 2022 CET Open APB tournament goes to Godsting. What a fantastic final push there from Smartless, but they weren't able to make anything happen. And with that, Godsting have secured the victory of the CET Open Series, CET 2022 Series APB tournament. I can't even get the name of this bloody tournament right. But good heavens, what a fantastic final. It's a shame Smartless really couldn't do too much more there, but ultimately, Godsting really showing their prowess. Congratulations to that team and commiserations to Smartless. They are going home with $600 today, but your winners tonight, Godsting, Exotics, Meliside, Huisness and Darlena will be going home with $1,200 to split between them. Congratulations all of you. What a fantastic final. Well, that was very interesting. I was genuinely expecting that to be a much closer fight than we actually got there, but what an amazing final. But we are not done yet for the CET 2022 Series APB tournament. Oh no, we have one more match to play today to secure the final listings of first, second and third. Next up, we have Slay'em versus G-Kings. So we will need to spend about 10-15 minutes here to get this next match ready for you, and we should hopefully be ready here soon, so don't go anywhere. Only one more match of the tournament left to be played, and this should be a scorcher. Slayham versus G-Kings, both teams very equal in skill and had very difficult teams going up against them as they went through this tournament. Slayham having a much easier ride in round 1, but ultimately losing to the winners of this tournament in the semi-finals. G-Kings, on the other hand, beating Last Chance pretty comfortably, losing barely to Smartless, the second place runners-up for this tournament. So this is going to be a very close match indeed. Will Slayham be able to trump G-Kings and take the third spot, or will the G-Kings' prowess against Smartless come through and shine through to secure the third position or the third place win for them tonight? All will be revealed in the next 10-15 minutes, so stay tuned as we go on to the losers finals for the 2022 series CET APB Reloaded tournament. See you soon. Well, a slight interesting development here that's just come through the wire. It might be that this losers bracket might not even be played today. One of the teams we're still waiting on to show up. And the latest I've got is that we are going to give them another 5 minutes to show up. If they don't, then they forfeit, and the winners will be the team that actually showed up. So for the team in question, they've got 5 minutes to show up and be in position and ready, from what I'm hearing from the judges. If not, third place will be given by default to the team that's already here. So, 5 minutes on the clock. Stay tuned. And it looks like both teams have indeed shown up. Okie dokie, we are running quite late today, unfortunately. Apologies for that, but we are almost ready to go here with the losers finals. As a reminder, it is Slayham versus G-Kings. Now, we have to go through the usuals here. As you know, at CET, we provide the streams from 2 different Twitch streams to provide the content for you here with commentary and quick access to both perspectives at any one time. But if you are interested in supporting the streamers directly, you can do so as well. From the perspective of G-Kings, we will have Chimsy, that's twitch.tv/CHIMBZY. And if you want to watch the perspective of Slayham, you can catch them over at twitch.tv/Flogget. That is FLOGGET. And we'll be joining the feed in just a moment. It's just coming down to the all-important coin toss in just a second, but it does look like both teams are now ready and raring to go for the losers finals. It's a way to end off the 2022 series Community Events Team APB Reloaded tournament. I've got them the wrong way round, sorry. It'll be Slayham. From Slayham's perspective, it is Chimsy, twitch.tv/Chimsy. And if you want to see the G-Kings perspective, it is Flogget, twitch.tv/Flogget. And both teams are now ready and raring to go. So we're going to go down to that all-important coin toss, and we will throw you over to the live feeds right away. So, here we go. The final match of the tournament. Losers final, Slay'em versus G-Kings. Let's get in on the action.
Да. Понял?
Как же голожопый батя просто.
Калаш.
Wonder how many viewers
Oops,
they
I'm going to
drop
need
now.
to reset a couple of things here. Just bear with me 2
Так,
moments.
кто там вообще играет, я даже не знаю. Кто это такие?
Чимзи не он, да.
Let me
I
just
know
adjust
кто.
this slightly. I've
Excuse-
got them the wrong way
excuse me.
round before anybody says anything I know.
Кьюти. Типа мил?
Типа милашка.
Типа дефел? Так, что у них? А, у них дефолт. Они там с этим, с ПМГ, да, вроде играют, чё?
Хз, не, там нет МГ.
Okie dokie, we're just waiting for confirmation now as to which team will be on the attack first.
Фига себе.
I
Кто у
didn't.
нас сыграет? Ты серый?
Нет.
Я.
А, ты вот.
And then we will get going.
Блядь, ну я не знаю, серый типа с пяльником и
I got the basic
спауном.
equipment.
Yeah,
I think I have all of them, besides for
the loot car
Да,
yeah,
это,
the
ну,
loot
типа,
car. Yeah, that's the only one I have. Got.
is such a monkey, I swear.
не особо там
Who
мешает.
cares thing about third place?
Иногда.
Stream says we already
Ух, нихуя.
Блядь, пакуем.
Nice.
Они будут думать, что у нас пятерка в машине.
Не, ну не влезет еще. Нет, коробка
Не,
ещё.
мне
Коробок.
влезет, мне влезет. А они будут, блядь, груз дефа. Я вроде скорость вообще не теряю с этой.
Ой-ой, меня это конфер заспотал.
Я нормально не езжу, да, правильно? Тогда вообще не теряю скорость.
Настя, чел, хочу сказать.
This guys.
Oh, stop it.
Not again, bro. You said it like last time. Like,
Кто там? Будем играть?
Я не знаю.
Chimsy, go. Chimsy, you have to go.
Блин, хорошо, что они
This
не
music
стали
is
этот
pissing me
перерыв
off.
там какой-нибудь брать.
this flag is pissing me off.
Плагит, иди.
Куда? Монет кидать?
Там он, да, да.
You guys have no aim.
Ща.
What was it? Tills never fails.
Да.
Опередил.
Exactly. Well, I mean, Vlogger already said heads. What can I do?
And the coin toss is in, and it is heads. So,
Проигрываю нахуй монетку в этой игре, блядь.
Ты опять?
Очень
with that in mind, it will be
Да.
G-Kings on the defense with...
G-Kings will be
G-Kings on the attack, sorry, with Slay'em on the defense.
Блядь, чё? Блядь, не. В прошлый раз девайс с кем-то играл, типа он выиграл монетку, они играли в деф, блядь.
Ну, и чё?
Ну, блядь, а я выиграл, а мы играем атаку, схуяли.
Okay, slight confusion, even all the way to the end. It wouldn't be an APB tournament without a bit of confusion and things not working. Nonetheless, it looks like the G-Kings will be on the attack, sorry, and Slay'em will be on the defense. Both very capable teams here. This should be a very interesting match indeed. I was hoping to see these two go up against each other after we saw their first outing and their outings in the semi-finals. I'm very interested to see how this one's going to go down.
Бля, нас
So, okay, I've got it the wrong way round again.
Нормально.
Slay'em are on the attack, and the mission is constructive criticism. I hope this is the last time it flips around again.
Too bad we don't have a hive mind in our team.
Ой, бля.
It's cold.
Yeah, but how many stages is it?
It's not that many. I think it's 4 total.
Да, ПВП вообще.
And considering Slay'em has been the only team in this entire tournament to take rounds off Godsting, they're in a very good position to win this, potentially.
Okay, yeah,
Although,
let's go.
we haven't seen how G-Kings do against Godsting, so again, it's all to play for. We'll see what
I'm
happens.
nervous.
Me too.
Да это Roll belay, что-то такое.
How much FPS you have?
Красные свечи.
I haven't even checked it. 133.
Let's go.
And away we go once again. Slayem on the attack, G-Kings on the defense, and here we go for round one. Constructive criticism. First, they'll need to break into a dump truck, and then a second one, drop them both off. Then defuse 3 items at porter cabins, raid 2 more places, drop those items off, then commit arson, and then it's a 3-stage objective checkpoint hold. Zygrain getting first blood there for the G-Kings, getting a kill on Surpass. Neon also falling victim to Zygrain's vehicle there as well.
По Чимсе есть инфа?
Но он на парковке.
Both teams just kind of sizing up the area, seeing what they can do. And again, both teams opt to go for a slightly slower aggressive play here, or attack strategy. So we are going to see these missions probably go down to the wire a little bit. Neon does get the pick on Pirelli though. And Chimsy gets the grenade kill on Pirelli. Neon gets the pick on Lexus. As the G-Kings now in a bit of trouble here, with only one defender left, which is Floggit, or in this case, Zygrain. But he has distracted them for long enough, giving the other 2 members of G-Kings ample time to respawn, as Surpass now goes for the objective. But the other 2 members of G-Kings are now back in for Slayem, as they put pressure onto Laxus there. Neon getting the pick there. Zygrain able to get a kill on Surpass doing the objective, before Chimsy picking off Zygrain as well. There's 1 member left of G-Kings alive somewhere, but I don't think they know he's up top. Pirelli is going to try and hold the rooftops there and stop them from capping this objective, but he doesn't have an angle from there, so he's going to be in trouble. He's opted to drop down instead, and is trying to put some pressure on, but too little too late as we go to stage 2 now, where the G-Kings will need to defend against Slayem taking another dump truck and dropping both of them off at the drop-off C. So we'll have to wait and observe how Slayem want to approach this, whether or not they want to drop off the vehicle early or grab the second vehicle early and drop both them off at the same time. Arguably might be a little bit easier to drop the first vehicle they've already broken into off early, which they're doing so. There we are, Chimsy dropping off the first dump truck for Slayem. Moving back to G-King's perspective here, Floggit opting to try and hold this dump truck as best they can, but there are members of Slayem already on the point ready to go. Neon's already there, trying to do the objective, as Surpass running distractions there with his vehicle. But in just a couple of seconds, the last member, Floggit, will be within range, or Chimsy will be in range, sorry, to provide support here. Surpass does get the pick on Maxis, as Pirelli does get the pick on Neon. So a bit of a trade there as the last few members start to make their way towards this objective. Floggit there getting a couple of good hits onto Chimsy, as Chimsy starts to make his way through the back alleys. Definitely was spotted, so he's going to receive a lot of fire here if he peeks this corner. But the other 2 members of Slayem now starting to push in from below, underneath, through the little alleyways there, trying to get a foothold in, as Neon does get the pick on Pirelli. So here comes the push from Slayem as they start to make their way into the towards the objective here, putting some pressure on, as Neon also gets the pick there on Zygrain. Chimsy now doing the objective for Slayem as they comfortably take the objective. 5 minutes left on the clock. They'll just need to drop this dump truck off. This is going to be very difficult for the G-Kings to stop, but we'll have to wait and see what they do.
Go, 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 go.
Слышите, что? Да-да-да, они вдвоем едут в команде.
This thing is a tank, bro. This thing is a tank. No way you're gonna die.
Давай, я...
And yep, I think they've also got the message that the dump truck's a bit of a tank. They should be able to just waltz this straight in. Surpass opting to drop out early there, as Chimsy is just going to dive this as quickly as he can. But the nades are going to be flying in from the members of G-Kings. But they might be a little bit too little too late here, as the vehicle has already been dropped off. He's in a kill spot there, as all 3 members of G-Kings are there ready to take out Chimsy, and they do so. In the meantime, though, it does look like Floggett is trying to get a bit of damage onto the other two members of Slayham, who escape in Vegas together and endeavour to go to the objectives early. They're probably going to try and take the D point as quickly as possible. It is probably the hardest of the three objectives to take, but instead, no, they're holding the highway. So back to Chimsey's view here. He's going to put some pressure onto Floggett here as Neon dives back to try and push. Pirelli does get the pick on Surpass though, so it's a 2v3 in favour of G-Kings here as Slayham try to make their way onto at least one of these points here. Pirelli spotting Chimsey there definitely, so he's got his work cut out for him. It does look like Chimsey's going to try and make a move on, but Neon getting the pick there on Zygrain at least. Evening the odds a little bit there for Slayham as Neon is back into the fight now, holding up top.
Надо мной не он, смотри.
Or Surpass is making his way back in now, rather. Sorry, I keep getting the names confused.
Он машину потерял. Боже. Упал, слышишь?
In the meantime, though, from G-King's perspective, they are trying to get their teammates back into position to hold the line here. Opting to hold more towards the D objective here, getting a nice little back kill onto Chimsey there, who was caught unawares. Chimsey beforehand getting the pick on Pirelli. It's a 2v2 situation here with Laxus down below watching between E and D, but D is being taken by one of the members of G-Kings there. Neon able to sneak the item there, I think, or Surpass able to do the objective there quite quickly. Without too much bother, able to sneak that one. So two more items to go. Laxus getting picked off there by Neon. Surpass underneath. Oh, good flick there by Floggett onto Neon there, finishing him off. Surpass directly below him. He sees him. Taking up one of the mobile car spawners for Slayham there. Or at least trying to. But here comes Chimsey now, trying to get some damage onto Floggett. Unable to do so. Tries to get back into his vehicle. But not before Floggett delivers the killing blow there.
Can you pick me up? I'm so fucking useless right now.
Я проеду сейчас.
G-Kings holding quite comfortably here. They still have two of the objectives to go, and Floggett
Без машины на мосту?
using a bit of his APB experience there, knowing that those porta cabins can be blown up and thus shot through, and if you have the piercing mod from the Colby Commander or the Cap 40 Sergeant, you can pierce those porta cabins and the shots will go through and do damage to players through them. So if you are using one of those two weapons, a little bit of information there for you. You don't even need to be on a mission where that porta cabin is an objective. That is always shoot throughable. Now then, it's a bit of a fight with vehicles. It's a bit of car gameplay here on the highway as Floggett dives straight over in his Dalton Rondaine.
One jump down.
Чимси на меня вышел.
And will probably use the roof to his advantage here, trying to get an angle on Chimsey once again as Chimsey dives back into his vehicle and heads off. He's trying to get an angle onto someone or something here. He, I think, is the only one here to go for Objective E, and he is going to try and sneak the E objective point. The question is, will any of the members of G-Kings notice this? And in the meantime, they are being distracted. Pirelli did manage to get Neon and Surpass. They are going to dive straight over to try and do Chimsey, but I don't think they're going to get to Chimsey in time. No, Chimsey gets another one of the three objectives done. 3 minutes 20 left on the clock now. Only one more bomb to disarm, but he is pinned, cornered, and removed. Patelli there getting the kill with the Entech as the other two members of G-Kings now setting up and holding the line as best as they can. There's only one more objective that needs to be taken. Laxus holding short, Chimsey holding near the car spawner, and Pirelli holding the roofs to watch the angles and watch the spawn points of the Slayham members who are going to make their way back in. 2 minutes 50 left on the clock now as we see Chimsey now making his way back onto the overpass to possibly get a bit of intel on where the members of G-Kings are. Does manage to spot Floggett, does a bit of damage,
Don't jump down this time. Go back.
causes him to retreat and back away, gets a little bit of damage onto Laxus there. It will all add up if the other members of Slayham are there to push. But they are on the overpass as well. Surpass and Neon just using the access ramp to get their way down towards the defuse point. Zygrain now desperately trying to find an angle on Chimsey from below. That's not going to be ideal. It's going to be difficult. Pirelli now under a lot of pressure as two members of Slayham rush him down. Both in their vehicles still as Flogget still trying to find an angle on Chimsy or catch him out, catch him off guard, but Chimsy not having any of that, gets a nade on, blows up Flogget's vehicle there. Does manage to get the kill though. Zygrain does manage to get the kill on Chimsy there, so that's going to be hugely beneficial for the G-Kings defense here. 1 minute 40 left on the clock now. Surpass does manage to get the pick on Pirelli. Laxus does get the kill on Neon though. And the members of Slayem are starting to make their way back in, but they're going to have to push a little bit harder here if they want to take this. Does manage to get an angle on Laxus, doesn't manage to kill him completely there. Probably could have finished him off if he just stayed confident and kept shooting just over the cover that Laxus was at. He would have still been able to hit him from that angle. But opting not to do so, Neon getting the pick there. Laxus does get the pick on Surpass though, so it's a 2v2 scenario once again, and instead, who have we got there holding for G-Kings? That was Pirelli taking a lot of damage and then using epinephrine to get out of there, but meanwhile both Pirelli and Zygrain are now going to try and push onto the point and defend from outside in, and he is able to do so, does get the pick on Surpass now, as Pirelli going in for G-Kings and taking out Chimsy as well.
Oh, 85.
Neon there getting picked off by Zygrain, so it's the first team wipe of the match, and it goes to G-Kings getting a full team wipe there on Slayem. 30 seconds left on the clock now. Are we going to see Slayem shut out of a final stage before on the first round? Now G-Kings taking a page out of the Godsting book, and stopping Slayem from making any sort of progress here at the start of this match. With only 10 seconds left on the clock, sorry, it's looking pretty confident. Zygrain picking up one of the members of Slayem there, as Laxus picks up another. Neon does pick up Pirelli, but it's too little too late, as the first round of this losers final goes to the G-Kings. Fantastic defensive capability there from all three members of the G-Kings. They're going to be happy with that one and happy with the early lead.
Чел нахуй с острова выходит с одного моста на другой пострелять. Вообще гений, блядь, ёбаный. Надо, так надо брать, забираемся. Поржали и хватит. Сундар хоть сюда смеяться.
So, a very interesting outing there from both teams. Both proving formidable, and we were expecting this back and forth. It was quite a hard push, attack and defense there from both teams. Very good play there by the G-Kings though, able to hold that quite comfortably. Not sure what Slayem were trying to do there at the end. They were kind of fumbling a little bit. Maybe they just need to warm up a bit, get ready, get prepared. We'll see how they do in the second round here, but it will be the G-Kings on the attack this time with Slayem on the defense. Will Slayem be able to shut the G-Kings out as well and balance the books? We'll have to wait and see. Or is this the start of another 4-0 sweep by the G-Kings? We'll have to wait and see. G-Kings attacking on the mission only a game. Just getting confirmation that both teams are ready to rumble here. Both teams are ready to go, so round 2 will be starting any second now, and...
One lane game. One написано.
Да, вижу. Сейчас гляну. Тут вроде только фомка нужна и все. А, подожди, кстати, слышишь? По-моему, тут
There wasn't even equipment there. It was the hack thing I had it.
Just going to wait for both teams to be ready here.
Да, давайте скипнем эту миссию.
G-Kings just taking a moment to be ready.
Какую девайс точку дали там?
Instead, they're opting to skip this mission, so they get their 1 skip or veto for this match, and they are using it early. So, they will re-roll, and instead they've got... We'll find out in just a moment. Instead, they will be playing Deliver the Liver. A classic APB mission, this one. I think pretty much everybody knows this one. Break into an ambulance, drop it off somewhere, grab a medium item as well, drop both of the items off, and then I believe it's item hold at the end. I haven't played this game in 2 years, I don't know.
Готовы? Поставили все?
Да, да.
But it does look like both teams are ready to go here for round 2.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Go.
And that's the mission start. G-Kings on the attack, slay 'em on the defense, deliver the liver. First off, they've got a hacker position to find the location of the ambulance and then break into it for stage 2. For stage 3, they'll need to drop off the ambulance and grab a medium item. And then for stage 4, they'll need to drop off both the ambulance and the medium item before going to a single hold at the end. And fighting has already begun as we see both Chimsy and Zygrain going at it, throwing nades aplenty. Chimsy getting the upper hand there as Surpass gets first blood for round 2 for Slayham as they pick off Laxus there. And are going to be quite happy with that, winning the initial fight there, as that gives them all the time in the world to set up in this area. A pretty notorious area as well. This should be hopefully quite easy for Slayham to defend, but we'll have to wait and see what G-Kings have got in their playbook for this. And in the meantime, here comes Flogget, coming to try and provide support, put some pressure onto Neon there, as Chimsy is also trying to put some pressure onto Pirelli there, but not really able to get the best of angles on him. Able to do a little bit of chip damage, but not really enough to finish him, and there we go. He does manage to finally get the kill on Pirelli there. Neon able to get out of dodge, and thus Slayham holding comfortably. 4 minutes 30 on the clock, plenty of time for the G-Kins to make a push here, so we'll just have to wait and see what they decide to do. In the meantime, Flogget's back up, getting his car spawner, his mobile car spawner, into a favourable position. But here comes Laxus as well. They are definitely going to try and make some pressure, put some pressure on Chimsy here, just to throw him off and hopefully push him off the highway. He's got a very, very, very powerful position here and can watch the objective and all over. He can provide perfect overwatch of the entire area and make it very easy for Slayham to hold this. But it does look like Flogget has decided to swap to an HVR and put even more ranged advantage to him. Trying to get some nades onto Chimsy's vehicle there as Chimsy backs away. Trying to bait, and despite all of that, the G-Kings were able to sneak the item out. I didn't even see what happened there. But the other two members, Laxus did get a pick on Surpass there. Neon wasn't able to stop the cap, so we go to stage 2. A fantastic distraction tactic there by the G-Kings. Able to break that stalemate quite comfortably. Slayham probably missing a beat there, unfortunately. They probably could have held that better. Not sure what happened there. Meanwhile, they're fighting over the Tiptoe car park as the ambulance they need to break into is very close by. Chimsy kind of getting caught here. Surpass getting a pick on Laxus. Zygrain getting the pick on Surpass and returning the favour. They are fighting back and forth as Zygrain now tries to make a move onto the objective, but is going to get caught by Chimsy here if he's not careful, and Chimsy picks him up. Neon providing support there for Chimsy, watching his flank as Pirelli tries to move in, and Chimsy picks up the kill. So once again, Slayham getting that initial fight for the next objective complete in their favour. However, they will need to do a lot better than this. They cannot afford the G-Kings to just sneak the items or sneak the objectives under their noses like this. Godsting had this problem and were able to overcome it. Let's hope Slayham can do the same, or this is going to go one way very quickly. So the members of G-Kings now starting to make their way in as they get their vehicles ready. Again, not opting to drive in, keep their information footprint as small as possible, make it difficult for Slayham to spot them. But it does look like Pirelli has managed to sneak into Tiptoe's car park and got to floor 2. Neon has managed to pick off Laxus. They have managed to sneak the item, as despite all of that, Slayham were too concentrated on one member of G-Kings in the Tiptoe car park. Pirelli getting the pick there on Neon, with Surpass getting the pick on Pirelli. But Slayham might be just a little bit too kill hungry here. They need to be paying more attention to the objective, or the G-Kings are just going to run away with this and keep dropping and sneaking the items out under their noses. Chimsy really needs to pay more attention to the objective. He has the long range. He had all the opportunity there to stop that and was too distracted. by Pirelli. Running a distraction inside the car park.
Поехали.
Если вы скоро найдете по дороге, возьмите скоро.
Very unfortunate there for Slayham, but fantastic strategy there from G-Kings and proving to be very potent as they are set on their ways to potentially take this 2-0 very early on. Laxus and Pirelli there providing support for Floggett as he makes his way through.
Там один пацан.
Meanwhile, all three members of Slayham are here, ready and waiting to go. They want to get rid of that ambulance and blow it up, so it is even harder for the G-Kings to drop it off. I don't think there is any way in hell the G-Kings are going to be able to sneak the ambulance in, and if they do, that will be a miracle. But they will run distraction and will try to suppress him as much as possible. He tries to dive in. It's not going to work. Chimsy was ready and waiting with a concussion grenade there. Surpass getting the pick on Laxus. Pirelli does manage to pick off Neon, though. Not before Chimsy and Surpass pick up the final kill. Another team wipe by Slayham on the G-Kings again. But this time, Slayham really need to pay attention. They cannot magnetize their attention just to where the enemy players are. They need to keep a good idea of their surroundings and also where those objectives are. Where's the medium item? Where is that all-important ambulance? Information that they should be gathering now whilst they get that team wipe. In the meantime, though, here comes Floggett. He's found the vehicle. It's outside. The medium item didn't get dropped off. It's just on the floor outside of the radius of the objective. It is inside the car park, but it's going to be a while for them to fight this. But in the meantime, Chimsy is getting pressured there. Surpass does get the pick on Laxus after Laxus takes out Neon. Pirelli winning the Angel there with a 45 as here comes Floggett. Dropping the vehicle off with ease. No cap time on this, it's just an instant drop for this stage as they fight over for the medium item, able to get the last kill there on Surpass. And G-Kings take this to the last stage, which will be a single item hold. However, Slayham are already in position ready to pick this item up, and away they go. Early lead here for Slayham once again. This is a recurring pattern from them. They start off very well, very quickly, aggressively, but as time goes on, the G-Kings catch up and take over. We'll have to see if Slayham can hold a much better defense than they've done before here, and hold a much better position against the G-Kings, who are just making quite an easy match of this, honestly. Pirelli there getting a nice quick and easy kill on Chimsy. As Zygrain now makes his way towards the objective. Pirelli picking up 2 kills there, actually, also taking out Surpass as well. As Floggett just runs onto the item uncontested with only one member of Slayham left. Neon, not sure what he was doing there, fumbling a little bit, but unable to make any kills there. Zygrain finishing him off. Meanwhile, Slayham opting to go for the highway here. They still have a lead on points. They were able to hold it for long enough, but in about 10 to 15 seconds from now, the tides will change and G-Kings will be in the lead again. Again, it's every stage the same story. Slayham start off strong and then fall apart as the stage goes on. And there we go, we see it again. Floggett able to get a very quick and easy kill there on Chimsy, who's just not paying attention to the right target and has selected the wrong person to focus on as he's getting shot at. Kind of nerves probably kicking in here and the whole game plan falling apart as the G-Kings kind of running circles around them here at the moment and able to retake the objective as well as hold that position. And they have taken the lead on points as well. Now with 36 points under their belt to the Slayham's 20. Neon does get a pick on Pirelli though, kind of big for Slayham here if they can start making moves or start making some sort of momentum or pushing the momentum in their favour as Chimsy now starts to chase down Floggett and take both of them out of the fight here. Tries to get a little bit of damage onto Zygrain there, but the OB not good for vehicle damage. Pirelli now up on the overpass, does manage to get a pick on Surpass. Floggett now trying to return the favour and take out Chimsy, but Chimsy manages to get out of dodge a little bit, but not before getting picked off Good angle there from Flogget, able to pick up the kill. They have managed to take the item back though, Slayham, so it'll be down to Flogget to pick the item up for the G-Kings here, as the lead slowly crumbles for the G-Kings. Neon trying to hold an angle, does so, able to take out Flogget there. Chimsy now back in position at the top of Tiptoe's car park, able to pick off another member there, Pirelli. However, one of the remaining member of G-Kings was able to pick up the item now. Laxus falling to Neon there. Slayham retaking the item, retaking the objective. 3 minutes 40 on the clock, and that lead from G-Kings slowly ticking away again. Are we going to see a change of hands once again on point lead? Well, if Slayham are able to hold this for another 12 or 22 seconds rather, we will see a change of hands. Now, Zygrain diving in with his vehicle there, although not opting to go for the push, and instead will wait for the rest of his teammates to be in position here. Zygrain now trying to set up shop, but that vehicle really did not stop well for him. Chimsy going to get an easy kill there whilst dodging the grenade. Pirelli down below. Laxus does get an A kill onto Surpass, so it's a 2v2 now. Laxus is near the objective and Pirelli is nearby. Probably going to put some pressure onto Chimsy now. He does indeed. He jumps out early. Chimsy's vehicle damaged. He's going to be in trouble here if he's not careful. Some fantastic shots over the car there from Pirelli there. But Chimsy able to answer back, and does so with some gusto there, as Laxus does get the pick on Neon. It is a 1v1 situation now for both teams, and instead of going for the objective, despite having a very, very slight lead now for Slayham, opting to repair the vehicle, and unfortunately Flogget coming out of nowhere and able to get the kill. In a couple of seconds now, as G-Kings retake the point lead on the item hold with only 2 minutes 15 left on the clock now. Putting some loads of pressure onto Neon there and able to drop him. Another team wipe by G-Kings onto Slayham. Slayham now on the back foot with 2 minutes left on the clock. It is very close though. It is a very, very close fight. That being said, here we go. Let's see if Slayham are able to do anything here. Time is now running out, and that lead is slowly growing for G-Kings. They will need to get onto this item quickly just so they can stay within contention and hopefully win before having to go to overtime. It's not what any team wants to do in this situation, really. Surpass able to get the early pick there on Pirelli. 3v2 situation again, as Zygrain drops out early. Chimsy now trying to get those all-important hits on. Good bash by the Vegas there, doing a lot of damage to that vehicle. And Laxus also getting dropped there by Chimsy, able to come to the aid of Surpass, but not before Surpass died. And it does look like Slayham are going to be able to pick up the item again with 1 minute 15 left on the clock. They are 25 points behind. It's going to take them 50 seconds to get this, but they do have enough time to do so if they can hold it here and now. If they can prevent the G-Kings from grabbing the item once, they can win this before overtime, but it is going to be tough. And Chimsy already under a lot of pressure here from I didn't see which member of G-Kings it was, but here we go. Flogget now using the Tiptoe's car park to try and get some angles on Neon there, who jumps back into his vehicle. And it does look like the members of G-Kings are going to approach from all three angles here as Pirelli gets the all-important kill on Chimsy now. It's a 3v2 in favour of the G-Kings as they start to make their way in. They still haven't got the item yet, and they're still not in position to do so, but one member is close. Chimsy opting to stay alive, and Neon trying to stay alive here despite everything. Surpass is near the objective and will be able to hold this. It is 96 apiece, but the item has been taken over, and just like that, Flogget takes it back for the G-Kings with 20 seconds left to go. He is going to move it a little bit off that roof, but it does look like Chimsy's going to try and dive in and take the item back with 10 seconds left to go. Is he going to be able to get the item and subsequently hold it? That's the question. Really good shots on there by Chimsy. Is he going to be able to grab it in time? 5 seconds left to go on the clock. And it does look like Slayham are going to grab it again, but this could all go down to the wire. It only requires one member from G-Kings to grab the item and they win.
He's pushing. Yeah.
Oh no, Chimsy, what have you done? Chimsy completely fumbled that. He could have picked up the item and just held it in front of him, waiting for Neon or Surpass to come pick up the kill, but instead he tried to flick shot him after the epinephrine went off, and unfortunately lost it for Slayham there. Slayham could have won that round quite easily. There weren't many points left in it. If he had just held on to the item, he would have held it, but G-Kings take round 2. Slayham really fumbling here. This is not a good look for them. It's not looking good for them, unfortunately.
За меня тоже.
Нормально.
Я там на неона вышел, очень хуёво.
Теперь нам надо с тобой серым помогать. Он уже может почти
They are really not going to be happy with that one. They panicked way too much. If he had just picked up the item, held it, and let Pirelli kind of fumble and work out what to do, that may have just given him all important, valuable seconds for Slayham to take the win there and take the lead. But sadly, unfortunately not. The G-Kings coming out on top. Pirelli with an amazing last-minute dash there to take the item and secure a second-round win for G-Kings. 2-0 to the G-Kings.
Нельзя так поднимать вот сколько.
Потому что, ну типа, да, понимаешь, типа, мы бы его там пикнули, блядь, и нам могли бы приебаться, блядь, то, что мы нахуй правила нарушаем. Я поэтому спустил его.
А то, что они его защитили, это не нарушение правил?
Это нарушение, блядь, но хуй знает, блядь, этот турнир. Я тут и командую, реально.
I could like 100 FPS here.
Me too, me too. So many cars.
Let's not get a super shitty attack mission this time.
We can just veto it. We have to.
So we go on to round 3 here, and after this round the teams will swap factions
Yeah.
Антенны.
to get the different mission pools of both Enforcer and Criminal. Slayham are now on the attack with Dial, a detonator, and they immediately choose to veto that mission.
Они захотели играть его.
Both teams have used their singular skip or veto option, so now they will have to take whatever mission they get next.
Борьба с пиратством. Вроде бы, да.
Hey, let's see this.
А там что?
Ну я не знаю, они как-то вообще не сделали. У них была нормальная миссия, блядь, они ее забанили и выбрали себе ту, которая вроде как похожа. Тут, короче, тут 3, доставка 3 грузов будет. Двое.
Okay.
О боже.
Just waiting for confirmation as
Надо до нее не доводить, надо. Так, на дефе.
what the next mission will be. I missed what the next mission is, but it will be Slayham on the attack here.
Поехали, а? Я не вижу, блядь, как много чуваков.
Нет, нет, вроде нет, нет, стоят.
Тачки строгие. Чисто черные и орлы.
Бля, кстати, вот они, короче, мне машину постоянно ломают. И меня, если еще это бесит, я спать не
Это last миссия.
Нет, еще одна будет, по идее.
Бля, чего выбрал там?
Нет, я имею в виду last миссия на Кремах.
А, ну да.
А, ну да.
Чем мы стартанем сегодня?
Ну, не знаю. А,
What's happening?
ждешь Наташа от готовности тоже.
And we're underway. The next mission is Game Copy Crackdown. Slayham on the attack, G-Kings on the defense. To start off, 3 raid points to go, and then they'll have to drop all 3 items off. Break into a vehicle, drop that off, commit arson, and then it's a 3 item drop, your drop, their drop scavenger. Now, despite Slayem getting there first, they're opting to set up their vehicles appropriately and try to catch the defenders before they can start defending. An interesting strategy here, definitely. We'll see if this pays off for Slayem. Chimsy getting caught out there by Pirelli, getting a good N-Tech kill to start off the round. As Flogget makes his way in, and Pirelli, Laxus picking up Neon, and another clean sweep there. Another team wipe by G-Kings onto Slayem. Begs the question, are Slayem starting to lose their edge here? Are they starting to lose their nerves? And has their motivation to win this kind of dissipated after the first 2-round loss? We'll see if they have anything left to give or any answer to the G-Kings here. 6 minutes 40 on the clock. They have managed to get one of the objectives at least. Only 2 to go here. As Chimsy starts to make his way through the middle, tries to get some damage on, gets caught out by Laxus on the corner. Neon does manage to get an Oscar kill on Laxus, Oscar gang. But he is on his own here in a 1v2 scenario against Zygrain and Pirelli. Going to be a bit tricky, but the Oscar is good against the N-Tech in the short range. So he shouldn't have too much difficulty. They are able to get another one of the objectives. And again, G-Kings not really defending the other 2 points, opting to only defend one, which is C. An interesting strategy to say the least. Laxus does get the pick on Surpass here as Chimsy gets a pick on Pirelli. A 2v2 once again. Chimsy and Neon trying to make a move in as both Flogget and Laxus hold firm. Although Zygrain's in a bit of a bad position. I don't think he realises that no one's coming from that angle. Laxus holding close as Chimsy now starts to dive his way in here. Laxus able to keep the area clear as Flogget rushes out to pick up the last member, Neon. So again, very comfortable defence here from G-Kings. Slayem really having a bit of difficulty keeping things together. Catches the spawn of Surpass and reverse GG spawns him there. Good move by Flogget and the team G-Kings as he accidentally gets Goomba stomped there.
One guy died, we can push now.
Pirelli accidentally getting the team kill on Flogget as Slayem now hopefully going to capitalise on this situation, but they are still a little bit way out, so that's going to give plenty of time for Zygrain to get back in. They're still trying to find a way in, some way to push through, break the line. The door closing there was not ideal for Chimsy, and he's going to feel that. Took a lot of damage from Pirelli. Pirelli runs out, finishes the kill. Neon dropped there by Zygrain, but Surpass does manage to get the kill on Laxus. Will possibly try to make some sort of a move here. Double nade there from G-Kings trying to find the last surviving member of Slayem as they do push him. Surpass putting a lot of pressure on, not able to get any more kills though. Meanwhile, we are seeing a weapon swap here from Chimsy, opting to go for the PMG. We'll see if he can make use of that. 4 minutes left on the clock though, still plenty of time for Slayem to get this last objective. We'll have to see if they can pull it off.
Слышь, Лакс, не бегай в точке, выцепляй одного кого-нибудь. У меня на НЕ проехал тип. Сейчас скажу,
Chimsy still trying to find a way in. The other 2 members of Slayem not really in position here. One is, the other is moving in now. Zygrain going to be in trouble here as the nades come flying in from Chimsy, but a little bit short. They don't find purchase. Chimsy's going to resupply. As Pirelli does get the opening pick there on Neon, Surpass gets the kill back and returns the favour, kills Pirelli. Zygrain just spamming grenades, or getting nade spammed by Chimsy here, who's just using his car to constantly resupply grenades, but not really finding any purchase with those grenades, so not really helping too much here. In the meantime, Surpass does get the does get another kill there. Laxus is still in, and Zygrain does finally die to a Chimsy nade. Only took about 7. But in the meantime, Laxus now pushing back in. Perfect nade there by Laxus onto Chimsy. We just missed that, unfortunately. But the other few members of Slayham now moving in onto the point, trying to take the objective. Surpass there, able to get the kill on Pirelli and is starting to do the objective. It does look like Floggett's going to try and make his way in, but he isn't going to make it in time as we go to stage 2. All 3 items to be dropped off now, and Slayham given a little bit of breathing room here to continue this stage, or this mission.
No, it's there, it's with me.
Surpass, with all 3 items in his possession, will be looking to make his way out now. Does die to Laxus though, as Chimsy starts to make his way in to possibly sneak the items out the other way. Laxus with the 1-2 combo, tag him and bag him. A few shots with the gun, and finish him off with the concussion. Good play there from Laxus.
It's not good.
Он справа. Да.
They're both there, they're both there.
Интересно, всё, смотри, сейчас.
Drop in the car, I don't know.
У меня, я крою его.
Nice spawn.
Members of Slayham here trying to find another way and probably communicating with each other as to how the hell they're going to do this. At a 2-0 deficit so far. Floggett picking up another kill there for the G-Kings, taking out Surpass as Neon does get the pick on Pirelli. Floggett answers back and gets the kill on Neon, so it's all down to Chimsy, and his PMG loses to Laxus's N-Tech.
We are throwing.
Again, nothing too stressful for the G-Kings just yet. 3 minutes 45 left on the clock. And Floggett now looking for the spawn points of the respawning Slayham members, hoping to possibly get rid of them before they get close. But he's looking in the wrong direction, because here comes Surpass and Chimsy once again approaching from the west. But holding firm for just a second, trying to get some information on where the defending members of G-Kings are before moving in. They suspect a trap. They'd be right in assuming so, because Floggett's waiting on the corner for the flank. Chimsy having none of that, opting to dive straight down the middle as both Laxus and Pirelli hold inside comfortably. Neon trying to put some pressure now on with the Oscar. Grenade coming out, not hitting him either. Grenade in, doesn't really find purchase. No one short closing or holding the door close. Zygrain now looking to make a move, or is now getting a bit of pressure there from Surpass and Chimsy. No, not Chimsy, and Neon, as they try to make a flanking maneuver on the defending members of G-Kings. Pirelli now diving out to take out Chimsy there. Gets the dive kill as Floggett under a bit of pressure here from Surpass. Surpass able to pick up the kill. 2v2 scenario now as Laxus does manage to take out Neon, making it a 2v1. Surpass on his own once again to try and get those items out from that middle of the courtyard there. But not really able to do so. Neon is still nearby, going to try and help Surpass on the push as Chimsy now pushes in from the other side. Meanwhile, Floggett and the other members of G-King starting to make their way back in as Chimsy does get the kill on Pirelli. Neon gets the kill on Laxus. Laxus gets the kill on Neon, though. And it's another 2v1 scenario for Chimsy. Chimsy has gotten the items and he is starting to make his way out of dodge as quickly as possible. I don't know if the members of G-Kings realise that he has the item, but they're not taking the risk. They're playing safe, they're playing methodical. And have caught the spawn of Neon there, of all people. Instead, they're not risking it. They're not going to take any chances. But instead, Laxus with the huge concussion grenade, and he's going to relay that information back to his members of G-Kings, who are now under the impression that the items are in the middle of the street, and they would be right. Laxus getting a crucial double kill there. Nade kill on the vehicle with 2 members of Slayham in there. Pirelli picking up Neon. Another team wipe. 1 minute 15 left on the clock. This is looking critical for Slayham, as G-Kings really running away with this match. Zygrain there getting a pick on Surpass once again as Pirelli holds up top by Bonita Benjamin. Now getting rushed by Chimsy. Chimsy desperately dives out, misses every shot there. A bit unlucky. Zygrain getting the pick. Pirelli finishing off. Is Zygrain going to get the ace? That's the question here. 45 seconds left on the clock. Neon does get the kill on Pirelli though, and the other members of Slayham have respawned as Chimsy goes into space, or low orbit, or even a little orbit for that matter. Oh, thank you. Does manage to grab the items, dies immediately to some fantastically placed nades there by Laxus.
Сзади, Лакс, сзади.
Да, да,
Вот
да.
тут, вот
Ну
тут.
все, уже, да.
Погнали, ебанем.
Паша мне.
На тебе?
And another comfortable win there for the G-Kings. Very unfortunate for Slayham.
I want to go to bed already.
Very, very unfortunate there from Slayham. And that puts them 3-0 down. G-Kings running away with this. Fantastic performance by all of them. As we go to a quick break. Well, very well played there by G-Kings so far, having a commanding 3-0 lead into this first little break for the losers finals. Slayham, not as good of an outing, unfortunately. They've really been kind of dropping the ball here a bit and fumbling at every turn. Multiple opportunities there to take a round off the G-Kings, not able to do so, sadly. So we're just going to give both teams a second here to swap factions. So the G-Kings will be... Oh, I wasn't paying attention to which faction was which, I do apologise. But they will be swapping factions, essentially, and we'll be back to the feeds in the next couple of 5-10 minutes. So, if you have just joined us, you have missed the grand finals, unfortunately. Godsting came out on top with a 4-0 victory against Smartless. Smartless did put in a good fight, but ultimately, too little, too late. Godsting are crowned your champions for the 2022 CET Open APB tournament. They will be going home with $1,200. Smartless will be going home with an admirable $600. And the winner of this match, Slayham and G-Kings, will be going home with $300 in third place. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. It wouldn't be an APB tournament or APB without having severe packet loss and having one of the members of the team restart their PC and their router. It just wouldn't be an APB tournament without delays and various other things not working, crashing and going wrong. So we are waiting for one member from what I believe is Slayham to get back in. They're having huge packet loss issues and should be back with us shortly. In the meantime, I do have a little video to show you. We were able to get something ready just for the finals here. I haven't seen this yet. I actually have no idea what this is. And I am going to have to add this in manually, so we're going to have to pause the music for a second. I think that's the music paused, fingers crossed. Yes. Okay, fantastic. And in the meantime, let's get you this video. Give me 2 seconds and I will throw this up on the screen for you. Bear with me. Okay, welcome back. If you've just rejoined us, both teams should be ready to go now. They have been set up and ready. As we begin round 4 here, potentially the last round of the tournament altogether. So, the question is, do Slayham have it in them to bring this back and potentially take 3rd place in this tournament? Or will G-Kings run away with it and secure a 4-0 clean sweep, concluding this tournament?
I did not.
The next few minutes will reveal all, as it does look like both teams are now ready and raring to go, and we will get round 4 started here in just a moment.
No chance. I mean, I didn't even want to play this tournament.
Because of Exodus, huh?
Exactly.
He's not playing.
He's not playing. But
Что-то походу не готовы, уже мой 3 показывает даже.
okay.
Что, окей?
Okay.
Okay, and I think we're pretty much ready to go now.
Start.
And so, round 4 will have, I believe, the G-Kings on attack, Slayham on defence,
Пукни.
and this might be it. This might be the last round of the tournament. Lonnie Durango is crazy. Now, they won't be able to veto this one. They have already used their only veto mission option, so they are going to have to play this. Is this the comeback for Slayham? Time will tell as we get started here in the next couple of seconds. Both teams ready to go. Both teams saying they're ready to go. So in the next couple of seconds, round 4 will begin, and here we go. G-Kings on the attack, Slayham on the defence. Lonnie Durango is crazy. Match point, G-Kings. Let's see how this develops. And first off the bat, we do have the G-Kings in the physical lead, at least, with their members already diving ahead and heading towards the first 2 objectives, which are planting bugs on 2 phones. This is going to be out facing towards the road, unfortunately, making this very difficult for them to attack. But first blood goes to Unia. A fantastic grenade there onto Vindaro, as Chimsy now desperately tries to get away around and try and get an angle on this last telephone. They were able to get one of them at least. Flogit does get the first one, as Unia picks up another kill there, manages to pick up Neon QT as well. Spytrack holding and placing a car in the way, giving Flogit the cover he needs to take that objective as we go to stage 2. Slayham will want to get there first, definitely, but Vindaro is already there. Neon QT is making his way back in, is able to get a kill on Unia, as the other 2 members of G-Kings now trying to do something similar, use the car as a physical barrier, but not able to do too much there, as Chimsy gets a little bit of damage on to the vehicle. And they are able to hold on for now. 4 minutes 20 on the clock, plenty of time left. We have gone to stage 2, but plenty of time left on the clock for G-Kings to take this. Slayham holding strong for now, just keeping an eye on what the movements of the G-Kings members are, as Neon does get another kill on Unia there, manages to catch the flanking manoeuvre. Flogit now trying to dive in close onto the point, but Chimsy's having none of it, and will dive into him here. The streams are slightly distinct, apologies. Flogit's stream is going to be several seconds behind, so you are going to see the footage a little bit behind. Chimsy able to make the kill there, and turns around to turn to face who I think is Spytrack, but Spytrack will get the kill there for G-Kings as they start to make their way towards the objective again. Vindaro's still nearby, holding short, and Neon's across the road, holding it in the apartment complex across. They have managed to get a car onto the objective though, and will use that as cover to try and do the point. Is it going to be enough though? Neon is in position to hold this angle quite comfortably, as Vindaro does manage to get Spytrack. Flogit does manage to get the pick onto Neon QT, but Vindaro gets around the corner quickly and dispatches him. Unia does get the pick on Vindaro though, so now it's going to be a one-on-one between Unia and Vindaro. Unia and Chimsy. Chimsy comes out on top of the 45, and thus another reset. A team wipe there from Slayem, I was about to say Smartless, onto G-Kings there as they hold firm. 2 minutes 50 left on the clock now. G-Kings once again looking for another way to approach this situation, another way in. And Floggett will now start making his way through the courtyard here, possibly to put a little bit of pressure onto Neon QT, but Chimsy is there as well now, watching from the inside. And trying to see where they come from. Does manage to spot Floggett, catches Floggett with his pants down, but fumbles it. Spytrack comes in to support Floggett there and is able to keep Floggett alive. And they are going to make their way through the building now and overlook the objective. Try and spot the last two members of Slayem before moving on to the point here. They do manage to spot Vindaro. Do a little bit of damage to him. Unia picks up the kill. On Neon QT, Vindaro, the last man alive. Spytrack gets the kill there. A G-Kings team wipe once again on Smartless, Slayem, sorry. And they're able to take the point. Stage 3 now, 5 minutes left on the clock. It is a capture, so this should be relatively straightforward for them. Sorry, I've misread that. They need to plant one more bug on a vending machine, and once they've done that, they will move on to capturing an objective. But it does look like Chimsy is already in position, providing support and defending the objective comfortably here. As both Neon QT and Vindaro try to make their way in, but do spot members of G-Kings in the process. Floggett under a lot of fire here from Vindaro. Good nades in, but not finding purchase. Vindaro trying to get that kill. Quite a valuable kill here if Vindaro can make the kill here. He does. Chimsy now able to move in and help support Spytrack. Not before Unia does manage to pick off Neon QT. Vindaro getting the kill down both Unia and Spytrack and saving and keeping Slayem in this fight for a little bit longer. 4 minutes left on the clock now as the G-Kings are now looking for what options they have on spawn and where they're going to possibly push in this time. Much harder point to take this. Plenty of angles that Slayem can hold from, making it very difficult to keep tabs on where all the members, the defending members are, but conversely, they can use this to their advantage. If they stay on the move, keep on their toes, they can make it very difficult for the defenders to keep tabs on where the attackers are coming from, but Chimsy's not going to have any problems here. He doesn't fall for the bait, but will push out to try and put some damage or put some pressure onto Spytrack there. But he has to be careful, because here comes Floggett to the support and aid. That being said, though, I don't see where the other two members are. Spytrack has already managed to make his way in. Unia has managed to make his way in now, and it's all going to come down to the wire as they push onto the point. Floggett gets onto the point, but Chimsy's there to put some pressure on as Vindaro comes and close the gap to try and get the kill there. Floggett does manage to pick up a kill there. Vindaro picks up the kill on Unia. Vindaro also takes out Floggett. Spytrack does take out Swivels, but Vindaro takes out Spytrack as well. An ace and a team wipe by Vindaro for Slayem. Fantastic defense there from Slayem, keeping themselves in this match for that little bit longer. 2 minutes 40 on the clock now as G-Kings try once again to take this point, but they're just holding off for just a second whilst all their members get in position ready to strike. The defenders in the meantime are setting back up, getting their members back into the fight, getting themselves set up, watching the angles, keeping an eye out to see where the G-Kings could come from. But here comes the encounter as Floggett tries to sneak his way up the ladder, does spot two members of Slayem, and knows he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here if he tries to push this, tries to go for a jump shot, fumbles. Spytrack now comes in to provide support. Unia's almost in position here, ready to provide some extra assistance, but not yet as Floggett does take quite a bit of damage there. In the meantime, Chimsy pushing up as Neon does get the kill on Unia now, so it's a 3v2 in favour of Slayem as he does turn on a pivot, turn on a swivel, does manage to turn around and take Floggett after doing quite substantial damage there to the last member of G-Kings, being Spytrack. Spytrack is still in, trying to hold an angle, but not for long as Vindaro comes in to pick up the kill with assistance from Chimsy. 1 minute 30 now on the clock, and this is looking substantially better from Slayem. This is a much better outing from Slayem on this round, and this is what we need to see. If they can keep this sort of pressure and capability up, then this could turn around very quickly, and that big lead that G-Kings have already got could slip away from them.
I'm not
1
watching
minute
Flog.
15
I'm
on the
not
clock
watching
now,
Flog.
and G-King's not pulling any punches. They're trying to dive straight in.
Flog
Some
it,
early
best
information there from Floggett onto one of the members of Slayham as he tries to make his way through the doorway here, or at least keep an eye on it. Now starting to make his way in as he starts to... No, he's backing off. He's going to try a different angle. Chimsy took a little bit of damage there from someone as Spytrack tries to make his way in now. Unia and Spytrack both diving in. They do manage to get the kill on Chimsy there, but it does look like... I didn't see who, but Vindaro is able to take out Floggett as he tries to dive his way in. We'll have to see what the scoreboard says. Swivels got the pick on Spytrack. Unia killed Swivels. Vindaro got the kill on Floggett. And then Neon QT cleaned up for Slayham and picked up Unia as well. 30 seconds left on the clock now. With good cast spawners in position for Slayham, I don't see them losing this stage now unless the G-Kings try a distraction tactic and try to sneak it out from under their noses. That's the only option they can really go for here with only 15 seconds left on the clock. We come down to the closing stages of this round. Will the G-Kings manage to survive and keep going? It doesn't look like it, as Chimsy manages to pick off Unia there, and also get the advantage on Floggett. Floggett does manage to get the kill though, but there's only 10 seconds left on the clock. One of the members of G-Kings is going to have to get on the point here if they want to take this, but he's the only one alive left for the G-Kings against Vindaro and Neon QT. It's not going to happen. Slayham take a round from the G-Kings, making it 3-1. Fantastic defensive there from Slayham, showing that they can do this. They are more than capable of sticking it to the G-Kings. And is this the comeback? It's way too early to say, but never call it a comeback, as they say, but this could be it. Is this the comeback that we're looking for from Slayham? Are they going to take it to a 3-3 tiebreaker?
Я там один раз был, я убил этого.
Значит, надо было...
Well, time will have to tell, but they live to fight another day as we continue this losers final between Slayham, G-Kings and Slayham. G-Kings with a 3-1 lead. It's match point to them still. Slayham will have to win this match as well if they want to stay in the tournament and get that $300 third place prize. But all the G-Kings need to do is win one more round, and they will take third place in the CET 2022 Series APB Reloaded Tournament.
Ебать хуйню сделал. Ладно, похуй, надо деф забрать.
Ну чё хуйня, просто не повезло, там типа...
Да,
ну, реально,
тут не везение, мы пушили убого, блядь. Тут нам, блядь, я, блядь, уже вот просто сейчас, блядь, после этой миссии понимаю, что нужно было делать и как можно было это делать. А на время миссии, блядь, я не понял это вовремя.
похуй, ладно.
Да, просто они реально сидели, не меняли позиции вообще.
Это просто в одном моменте жестко с голошопиком зафкапил. Второй нейт криво вылетел и ниже полетел.
And the next round is upon us. It will be Slayham on the attack, and their mission is stereotypes. And we're just waiting for confirmation that both teams are ready to go here for round 5. Once again, match point to Slayham, to G-Kings, sorry.
It's a 5-stage mission.
Что, прогадали просто.
Loot vehicle, drop
I have it.
loot vehicle again, drop off in that last stage.
Сейчас все норм будет.
This is winnable.
We are ready.
Just let me just... What do you mean? Yeah, I have it.
So not only will Slayham need to win all attack stages here, they will have to win the final stage if they want to stay in this tournament. And away we go! Round 5, match point G-Kings. But Slayham are definitely going to reach the objective first. But let's see what they do. Their mission is stereotypes. They need to break into a vehicle and steal the item, drop it off, break into 2 more vehicles, drop off those items, and then we go to a single checkpoint hold for 7
Yeah,
minutes.
see Unia.
Both teams have made their way to the objective, and now the fight commences as we have Flogget holding an interesting angle from the little shop down below the overpass, or down below the highway. As Spytrack tries to make his way up onto the highway, Neon QT picks him off by blowing up his vehicle next to him.
Stay highway,
Neon QT also getting a pick on Unia there, as Flogget does get the kill on Neon. And Vindaro is there to support, but I don't think he spots where Flogget is. So if Flogget can distract for long enough, they can just stop Slayham from going for the objective. But no, Flogget's going to dive straight in here and try and get a different angle, as Chimsy now is going to try and move the vehicle into a slightly better position here so he can get more cover from the vehicle itself. Vindaro sacrificing himself to take out the two members of G-Kings, trying to dive their way back in, as Neon QT is now in position to provide some support here. Flogget going out of his way to try and stop this early take, but too little too late. Chimsy takes the point. He's got the item, but he is stuck there. He is going to need a bit of support here from Neon QT, who is able to take out Flogget finally. He got a little bit of help there from his friends, and he's got 4 minutes 40 on the clock to drive 400 meters and drop this item off. G-Kings, on the other hand, though, will have respawned by now. They will have had some decent spawns, hopefully. It doesn't look too good for them, though, but they are spawning next to a car spawner, so they'll be in vehicles already making their way to the drop. And we've got a shootout in the streets, as both vehicles of both teams encounter each other as they make their way towards the drop. Neon QT in first. Unia already taking the high school roof. And a great nade onto Chimsy's vehicle there. That vehicle is now down for the count, or at least on fire, as they dive onto the point here. Chimsy going to try and do the point early, but opts against it as Unia takes out Vindaro. Flogget takes out Neon. He's going to drop the item outside of this little area just to make it easier for them to retake, and hopefully so that the G-Kings do not spot where the item is. Let's see if Flogget's going to spot it. No, he's going to the Pizza Hut roof. This is another notorious defense spot. I'm surprised we haven't seen any of this area being played in the tournament at all. No one's actually really gone up to this area, but it's now finally going to be used as Flogget takes the Pizza Hut roof, ready to provide Overwatch. I don't think he realises where the item is, but he is in the best spot he could possibly be to cover this. Meanwhile, Chimsy has managed to sneak his way in and is going to put some pressure onto Flogget. Not before Flogget gets the kill on Vindaro. Chimsy takes the kill, though. Now, Spytrack trying to find Chimsy, has definitely found him now, and will probably drive all the way through into that little courtyard area, out of line of sight. Unia does pick up Neon QT, though. Vindaro not really in a position to assist on this push, though, so not much more that Slayham can do here as time ticks away. 2 minutes 50 left on the clock. Both Vindaro and Neon QT now diving in. They've got the item. They're going to make a calculated push together. We'll see what they can do as Flogget goes into space from the skate park. But this is looking crucial as he is going to be there ready to support. Notices Vindaro. Is he going to get some shots on? Yes. Gets half a burst of an Obeah onto him. Not really too much more outside of that, as Chimsy is now getting pressured from Unia, who's on this high school roof. Vindaro gets the pick there. Spytrack picking up Neon QT as well. So Chimsy and Vindaro now pushing together, working together to get that item on the drop. With 2 minutes 12 left on the clock. Plenty of time to do this, but they can't afford to drop any more players on this push. They're able to get Spytrack now, so it's a 2v1 situation. Flogget in a very, very interesting position here. Unia also up there with him, providing fantastic Overwatch and cover of the objective. Now, will Slayham be able to do anything here? No. Unia does take out Vindaro. Chimsy is left on his own to fend for himself. And they're going to know that the item's going to be on him. It can't be on anybody else. Meanwhile, Chimsy now backing off, dropping the item in a more obvious space, unfortunately. And G-Kings could pick up on this. 1 minute 35 left on the clock. Slayham are really running out of time here. 1 minute 30, and if they don't do it, they are they're in 4th place and miss out on 3rd place. Chimsy now in a lot of trouble as two members of the G-Kings rush after him. He puts an aid down next to him unprimed, does get some fantastic tracking on Spytrack there, and manages to out-duel him with a 45 there. Unia now trying to find out where Chimsy's gone after throwing an aid on. Doesn't find him. Chimsy stays alive. Neon QT now on the highway, putting some pressure onto Flogget and hopefully putting some pressure onto the objective, but not before Unia finally gets the pick on Chimsy. Has the item drop near the objective, but that's not good. 60 seconds left on the clock now. 60 seconds left for the G-Kings to hold, and if they do, they will run away with this and win 4-0 to take third place. Neon QT just kind of dancing in the middle there. 50 seconds left on the clock now. Slayham can definitely still get this, but it's going to be a bit of effort. Spytrack spotting and Junior spotting Chimsy early now. Good nade on. Chimsy had nowhere to go there. Unfortunate. However, it does look like the G-Kings have put up one hell of a display today against Slayham. And I've done an incredible performance across each round. With only 20 seconds left on the clock, I don't think there's anything left for Slayham to do here. They're going to put some pressure onto Flogget and maybe drop down onto the point and hopefully get it, but Chimsy just can't get the kill. Vindaro just sitting in the car, not really helping there, unfortunately. I'm not sure what the communication is, but that is it. Your third place winners and the losers final winners for the APB Reloaded Tournament 2022 series goes to the G-Kings 4-1. Well, GG's to all 4 teams that managed to make it into the finals there. Let me turn this off. Okay, there we go. Well, GG's to all 4 teams there that were able to make that magic happen. Fantastic games there. It's a shame that we got to see 4-0 sweeps twice. It would have been nice to have a much... Well, it wasn't a 4-0 sweep, it was 4-1 in favour of the G-Kings there. It would have been nice to see a little bit closer matches, admittedly, for the grand finals, but what a fantastic end to what a fantastic tournament. I really hope you've enjoyed this, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an absolute pleasure to host for you. I have been your host tonight, Kempington, and throughout this entire thing, thank you very much indeed for watching the 2022 series APB Reloaded Tournament, hosted and provided to you by the Community Events team. A big thanks to all the players who participated and got their teams ready for this. A big thank you to Natsu, Jim, and all the members of CET for making this a reality and making this possible. Thank you to the other assistants that we got outside of Little Orbit to make this tournament possible. And a thank you to all the people who generously donated to the prize pool for these fantastic teams to take with them. So once again, your winners tonight and the winners of the grand finals are Godsting, and they take home $1,200. Smartless takes second place and go home with an admirable $600, and G-Kings, after an impressive outing against Slayham just now, will take third place, winning the losers final and taking home $300. Well, that's it from CET and thus from the 2022 series APB Reloaded Tournament. Once again, a big thank you to everyone who helped out and everyone watching at home. We really do hope you enjoyed this, but that is it from us. If you weren't aware, this was the last one that we were doing. There are no further plans for tournaments. We really hope you enjoyed the content that we were able to provide and the content we were able to put together for this tournament. But I think that is the last of what we can provide. So again, a big thank you to Natsu for all the graphics and organisation. Thank you to Jim for all the stuff in the background. Thank you to all the moderators and all the people in CET for making this a reality. And we really do hope you enjoyed it. Maybe we'll see you again in the future some point. Maybe not on APB, maybe somewhere else. We'd never know what the future holds. But for now, and from everyone at CET, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic night.